What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around. My name is Tyler,
I'm Steve.
and today we are so pumped to have Kayla Drescher on the show. For anyone who doesn't know Kayla, aka Magic in Heels, Kayla is a phenomenal magician based out of the LA area who's been on a ton of TV shows, has done a ton of corporate work, and we're really excited to sit down with Kayla today, talk to her about magic, life, and everything in between. Dude, Steve,
Yeah,
this is going to be an exciting one, man.
it is. It's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We talked, we had her on, yesterday for a little test chat, and usually we like to do 15 or so minutes. It turned into what, like an hour?
Yeah, I think it was about an hour, and it was a good one though. And honestly,
Yep.
I always love the conversation ahead of time because it kind of gives us that vibe for all right, how good is the conversation going to flow? And honestly, it flowed amazing yesterday, so I have no doubt this is going to be a blast of a conversation here,
Yes.
dude. And it's a wonderful Sunday here, so it's going to be a fun time.
Is it nice out there or what?
It was
Out in
actually
Jersey?
surprisingly warm today, like warm enough, winter warm. It wasn't like
Oh,
maybe
winter
like
warm could be
it's like
40.
50. Yeah.
Winter warm could be 40.
I didn't have to put fur slippers on to go outside, so how's that? But
Sure. I mean, I've never had fur slippers, so
so, like the faux fur Uggs, there you go.
yeah, no, I don't do that stuff. But
Ah,
I hear
so
you.
cozy, man. But that being said, we ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. What's up, Kayla? Steve's fat hands over there slapping every button under the sun.
No, it wasn't my
Absolutely.
fat hands up because we were talking about it earlier. I had the wrong bay on, so I pressed the
Oh, my
right
God.
button. It was just the wrong bay.
Oh my God, I feel like I
Ready,
heard
let's
like
do it again.
there we go. The much more intro appropriate starter. Kayla, how you doing
Lord.
today?
What a
I'm
disaster.
great. That was the best intro I've ever had. So let's keep that
I'm
up.
gonna start giving everybody the fought song when they come on.
Oh my God, man. I don't even know. I actually was thinking about the other day because we had a funny story post that a viewer of the show put up. And the running joke is that anytime they hear, someone says, "Oh, Steve and Tyler," it sounds like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. So someone posted a story the other day, and it was a picture of Steven Tyler, two pictures of him on top of each other, and one with my face on it, one with Steve's face on it.
I didn't see
And I was
that.
I tagged you in it. You should have seen it, but I'll send it to you either way.
Yeah,
And
send
I
it
was
to me.
like, oh man, I should get the picture from them, and that should go into our intro video,
Oh, dude, that'd be dope.
right? So weuld have to.
We
we'll
should
have
do
to-
like an Aerosmith type.
yeah, like a non-copyright infringing Aerosmith aspect to the
Oh,
show.
100%. That'd
Yes.
be funny. That'd be
But
great.
that being said, Kayla, so glad to have you
Welcome
on.
to
Honestly,
the show.
we've been waiting to have you on for a long time. Steve, as Steve mentioned yesterday, we always have a list of running guests. You've been on the list for a long time now. I don't even remember when we decided to put you on when we stumbled across your profile, but you've actually had a very large impact in the magic community over the past several years. You run a podcast related to
I was
magic.
like, really?
You have a
Really?
I mean,
Wow,
people
what'd I do?
know your name. People know your name.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
listen, no one's out here expecting magicians to cure cancer. So an impact in magic is a whole different kind of
I
thing
mean,
than
that'd
an
be cool.
impact
That'd
in
be pretty
medicine.
magical.
That would be impressive for sure. But that being said, I mean, I feel like you've built a lot of visibility within the magic community over the past couple of years. How did you originally get into magic?
So I've been doing magic since I was 7 years old. As a kid, I got really into just the world of performing. And the story I tell is when I was in preschool, we had preschool graduation, and all the kids were. The teacher would say, "Oh, this is Sarah, and she wants to be a veterinarian, and this is Lizette, and she wants to be a doctor," and all these like really cool careers. And then when it came to me, my genuine answer was, "This is Kayla, and she wants to be Maria from The Sound of Music." And
That's
so
awesome.
I already was a
I mean,
ham.
that's technically an actor, right? An actress?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think a lot of people wanted to be Julie Andrews when they grew up, and that was me too.
I
And
didn't
so,
want to be her.
oh,
Show over.
just
Show over.
awkward. Yeah. So then when I was 7, I found magic by walking into a magic shop with my dad, and I really loved how magic satisfied the very like logical, sciencey part of my brain. I was really into experiments and digging in the dirt and learning how things worked, but then also the performance side, making people laugh and have a good time. And so magic just perfectly clicked both sides of my brain. So after that, I joined the Society of Young Magicians. It was like an hour away from where I grew up. So
Nice.
my parents would drive me there once a month, sometimes more than that. It was awesome.
dope.
So I had yeah, I got really lucky, had a great mentor. And then
Dude,
there you
how
go.
come I didn't know there was like cool shit like that when I was growing up?
You know what you got to do is you got to have a random person find a newspaper clipping, and that's how you find out about
I just want to have kids so I can. Well, that's not the only reason why I want to have kids, but I would just want to have kids so I can just have cool stuff like that. You know, like put them in jujitsu, put them in like magic society for little people and stuff. Whatever. I just never knew that stuff existed when I was younger.
I didn't.
I mean, it
either.
probably didn't, but
No, I'm sure it did.
Did you have fun as a kid? Did you like do fun things?
yeah, but it's different what people do now than what I did when I was a kid. When I was a
feel
kid,
like there's always
I
been
played
the
wiffle ball. That's all we did. We played wiffle ball and played
But, like,
hide and
were
go
you
seek
into
and
magic as a kid
actual-
though?
What?
Were you into magic as much like as a kid though?
Yeah, but when I was a kid, dude, let's think about this. When I was a kid, that's like 40 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
Are
let's
you
think about that.
50?
I'm
he's almost
46.
50.
Oh wow,
I'm
Steve
46.
looks good for
great.
46, right? Yeah.
So-
you look great.
Thank you. So, like, let's think about that. Like, there was no David Blaine on TV. There was
No, but there were magic kits. There were magicians. Like I'm
Yeah, but
granted,
there
like I
wasn't,
feel like
there was no internet. There was no TV that was really pushing that stuff.
you
So,
had the yellow pages.
oh, bro, do you think I actually looked at the yellow pages? I just dialed numbers when I was pranking people. I didn't look at the yellow pages.
But you had to do it on the rotary, right? You had to do
No,
like
we actually
one,
had buttons. I hated that.
3.
rotary.
Oh,
my
oh,
mom,
okay.
my mom has nails like this because she's a manicurist, and she could never do that. It's like Freddy Krueger trying to dial a phone. That
Oh
just
my
doesn't
God.
work.
That's awesome.
Dude, I love it. But like
Anyway,
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
I feel like
Magic
magic's always been there. It's just you maybe different motivations, you know? Like if you were bigger into sports as a kid, your parents are gonna be like, oh, let me go figure out where a sports league is.
No,
If you're
you're
bigger
probably
into
right.
magic,
I mean,
yeah.
you're probably right. I mean, I was from Boston. I played baseball, out of the womb.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I know my parents had me do everything. So I danced, I did theater, I like took summer classes in different languages. Like my parents just kind of, I don't know what motivated them, but they just said, yeah, Kayla's going to be the most well-rounded child that exists.
That's dope.
And it's true. Yeah, it was really cool. I'm really thankful for the amount that they put into me just learning cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
That's
great.
awesome.
But the magic club, not a lot of people I feel like join a magic club as a kid. And we just happen to be really lucky that there's this massive magic club only an hour away from us. So it was like a no-brainer on being able to do multiple shows for audiences. I'm 7 years old doing a round robin style close-up show, traveling to the corners of the room, performing my little, quarter in a bottle routine for 4 different times. And it was amazing. Like I
That's
just got
awesome.
really lucky to be able to kind of get my butt kicked by this magic club. So it was
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Dude. I love hearing that though too. I mean, again, I think a lot of times, depending on the age, to some extent, Steve, I'll agree with you. Magic probably wasn't as easily accessible back then, but like also like general like geographic location also seems to be a big thing. Less so now, but back in the day, growing up with magic, we've had people on who, Ito Huang, who grew up in Indonesia, trying to figure out how to do magic when there's no magic available, no one's doing magic around you. It's really interesting to see how lucky some of us can be for having those resources available, and also just again that motivation to go after it and really drive with it. So now, knowing at that young of an age that you wanted to kind of do magic, what did your kind of like, we'll call it your formative years here, what did school look like for you? Did you go to school for like something generic? Did you go for like performing arts? How did that kind of play out for you over your life?
Yeah, I had no interest in doing magic as a job. Like
Okay.
0. At no point in my life was I like, I'm gonna be a magician. Nope. I loved it, and then I kind of had other goals forever. And so I actually went to college for environmental science.
Oh, nice.
And I wanted to work in green energy. So I wanted to work on, I really, really loved, here's my nerd, I really loved hydrogen fuel cell transportation. And I got really into the idea of cars and buses and stuff powered on hydrogen. So I studied that pretty intensely, and I built a little remote control car powered off of, I had like a converter that took water and then split it into hydrogen and oxygen, and then boom, it powered the car. And that car went a solid 8 feet on a little bit of water. So
That's pretty
I was really
impressive.
proud of myself. But already, I wasn't inventing something new. This already existed. That was just me like figuring out how stuff works. And so out of college, I got a job, and it was in a science education company because I also was really interested in like, oh, maybe I'll go into teaching. I took too many classes in college. Technically, I have 3 degrees. I won't. This is too much. You don't need to know how stupid I was. And so
College is for. We were all dumb in college.
Oh, so
That's
dumb,
why I didn't
right?
go. I didn't want to be dumb.
Congratulations. Honestly, I mean, I paid, my parents paid so much money every year, and I don't use my degree at all. So yeah, totally worth it. But it was great, and I had, I got a job, but it was a desk job, and it was training other people in the world of science and education and all this stuff, and I just said, this is awful. This is the worst, sitting behind the desk. For me, other people, I think it's great. People love structure in their day, and I don't. I want to wake up at a different time every day. That's how I want to live.
I want to eat breakfast at noon.
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's great. Like tomorrow, I'm doing 2 hours worth of work, and then that's it. Like, what a great day.
Yeah,
and so
maybe I'll do 2 hours of work tomorrow too. I don't know.
Good luck to you, Steve.
Yeah, that probably won't work out for me, but
yeah. I mean, the good news is I don't have a boss. I feel like do you have a boss?
Yeah, myself. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. So then you're fine. You're fine.
Well,
Yep,
my fiance is my boss, actually.
Oh, sick. That's a good deal. That's great.
She makes sure I stay on track.
Yeah, I have a manager. He's actually here. If you guys want to meet him,
We'd love to meet him.
He's intensely ruthless. He like regularly tells me that I don't deserve anything. That's mainly because I don't give him anything to eat most days. So that's him.
And
what's
his name?
His name's Bowie.
Epic name.
He's just a real jerk, really. Bowie.
Hey, Bowie.
Excuse me.
Hey,
Hello?
Bowie. I'm so glad we have actually a dope animal on here rather than what I'm normally used to seeing
Steve,
as a cat.
Just because you don't like cats doesn't mean cats aren't fun.
Dude, cats are fun for a lot of things, not anything that I like look at fun.
Yeah, like if you don't care about love or joy or compassion, then get a cat,
or like
right?
Cats are the best pet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, you froze a little bit there, but that's fine.
That was a really
it's like hyper voice there. Yes, but dude, no. To each their own with the animals. We'll leave it at that. But Bowie looks like he's a fun time. Honestly, you tried to hype him as a real tough manager. He's taking a nap there, so I don't know.
Right.
You should have heard what he said to me before we went on air. I won't repeat it. It's too much.
My God.
Yep.
That is too funny. But and it's honestly,
we have in the house.
Sonia's in the house. Yeah.
Hey, Sonia. Sonia's one of my top 5 favorite people in this world.
She is one of our top 5 favorite people too.
Yeah.
She is awesome. Yes, an amazing magician and an amazing dancer. Just awesome person all around. So
literally my long lost sister.
Also a dog lover.
Yeah.
Yep, she's got a good dog.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
So,
hi, Sonia.
We always love having dogs on the show. We always love having pets on the show and people's pets on the show because it's always an interesting kind of window into parts of people that you don't always see, because I think the connections people have with animals aren't always tangible necessarily. They're not always easy to break down. Even if you're not a pet person and you get a pet, all of a sudden you become a pet person. You're like, oh damn, just kind of how it goes, except for Steve over there. So
no. So here's the thing. I love animals, minus cats, but I love animals. Okay. And I used to have a pit bull, Do
you like snakes?
I love snakes. I think snakes are dope, but they're just boring. But here's the thing. I love fish. I love having fish tanks.
Wait. A snake is boring, but you love fish.
No. Well, here's the
what
thing.
element of a fish is exciting to you?
Have you ever seen beautiful fish swimming around the tank?
In a freaking circle? Yeah, I have.
No,
what excitement!
No. See, that's because most Americans have a little bowl like this with a beta in it, and all the beta does is go like this, and that's a little bowl. But when you have 135 gallon tank, that's 6 feet long. They don't.
What about
swim.
that?
Still not that exciting.
What
It's
about
super
that big
exciting when you have
that Jean-Luc Picard has in his office on the Enterprise. He has that really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up. That was my. I'm allowed
So,
one
I'll
Star
be
Trek
honest,
reference today.
I've watched Star Trek in the past, but I don't recall any specifics of anything. I actually just started the new season of Discovery yesterday. So.
I don't do Star Trek.
Yeah, Steve's not a space kind of guy.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
you're too busy watching your fish.
Yeah.
No, so I love. But here's the thing: I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, I don't want to take care of fish. I don't want to clean.
Fish are a lot of work. That's the problem.
I don't want to clean up shit off the ground after a dog. Like,
here's the trick to pets. Here's the trick to pets. You need to find the perfect balance of time spent to enjoyment. This is where cats win.
No.
Oh, that's not accurate.
Oh,
that
100%
is not
true.
accurate.
Cats
at
are
all.
very minimal. You feed them once a day. You clean their litter. They do their own thing. When they want you, they're there. When they don't, they're not there. They're very hands off.
You're not gonna clean up the cat hair or anything, or
Do you vacuum your house already? Yeah.
so you're just gonna vacuum your house. That's all you're gonna do. Just vacuum your house. What about the couches and the counters and the plates and dishes?
Hold on. Do you not clean your house in general though? Like this is nothing.
Yeah, but my point is I don't want to do stupid crazy work trying to get cat fur off my couch. It's annoying.
It's not that hard.
And I'm highly allergic to them.
Yeah, so you have an excuse as to why you don't like. You have an excuse as to why you shouldn't have a cat. I still don't think that's an excuse to not like cats.
I watched. So I have a friend Tyler who lives in Vegas. And
not
I
me,
watched
a different
his house.
Tyler.
I watched his house for 6 weeks when he went to Namibia, and he has a cat, and it was very difficult for me to live there for 6 weeks. But the amount of cleaning I had to clean up after this cat was atrocious. Like it shed so much. It was just a pain in the ass. And I
So
just
do
don't wanna do
dogs.
that.
Like that's just shedding
No,
is a
work.
natural thing.
It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and you just have to be willing to do the work. That's all. I
Yeah.
love
Have
animals.
you considered a bearded dragon?
You know what? I love what are they called? A skink. What's it called?
Oh, I used to have a blue tongue skink.
Not a blue tongue. They're the ones with the red eyes. They look like little baby dragons.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah,
A red-eyed skink, baby. I think it's called
Red-eyed
skink.
crocodile skinks. I just googled red-eyed skinks. That's the first one that comes up.
Yeah,
skinks are great.
No, they are awesome. And the thing is they don't do anything. If you pick them up, they're just like a statue because they're like, maybe they don't see me. They don't recognize me.
A skink is actually some level of work because you have to, they burrow. So you do have to have like a tank with shavings, aspen shavings, wood shavings, that they can burrow in. Where a bearded dragon, there's like a specific formula in a sense. It's kind of like baking a cake. Because when you learn how to bake the right kind of cake, then it's easy. So once you learn the formula for a bearded dragon in terms of light, diet, but then you kind of just like clean when it's dirty. And they're cool because they'll like run around your house and they'll like climb up your screen door and they'll sit on your shoulder. You could take them outside so you can sit in the sun. It's such a joy, Steve. Get a lizard.
Steve doesn't go outside.
I can't be bothered. I totally do. But I'd rather go outside, sit up and look at all my plants that we have and
plants.
Flower. Like we're big plant people. We love plants.
Just,
we have like 30 of them in our house.
I'm going to bring back the snakes are boring, but I own plants element.
I think he wins this one.
But the cool thing is all you have to do is do this every once in a while. It's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to walk outside and look at my plants and go, oh, it needs water.
For Christmas, I might get Steve some of those. What are they called? Sea monkeys. There you go. Throw them in water. You're done.
I've had those.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What's your question?
Question though, not too long ago, you did mention the interest of having a child.
Yes.
You have to clean them up after them, and they're like a lot. They're way more work than a fish or a plant.
Yeah, that's why I don't have a child right now because I'm not ready to do that. When I'm mentally ready to literally get shit on, I will have a child. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's a good thing to prepare for.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if,
oh man,
the day that I'm okay.
I just picture you with some sort of vision board in your house that's just like, work on new magic show, learn a new card move, get ready to mentally be ready to be shit on.
I mean, I get shit on quite regularly depending on who it is, but that's a little different shit.
Verbally.
Metaphorical versus
I'm okay with
literal.
that.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, I'm okay
Jeez.
with that. Yeah, I don't have any weird fetishes. But the day that I'm ready
Whatever makes you
to,
happy.
yeah, hey, I'm not judging.
There's no
If you
kink
enjoy
shaming
that,
on Deckin Around.
if you enjoy that, go for it. But the day I'm ready, I will have a baby. Well, I won't have the baby, but
Steve will participate in the baby
in the baby
process.
making.
Yeah.
Speaking of baby, I have a question for you, Kayla. Perfect guest to ask this question. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna
What
ask.
this transition has got me.
I'm scared of what the question
Speaking
is.
of babies,
It's actually the perfect because I wanted to ask this before the show, but this actually just segues perfectly in. So recently, I just got invited to a baby shower.
Okay.
When did dudes start getting invited to baby showers?
Like 10 years ago?
Why?
yeah. Wait, why am I the perfect guest to answer this question?
Because you're on right now.
Oh,
Why do I'm asking both? Why do guys get invited to baby showers?
So I think baby showers have evolved beyond what they used to be. It's not like where you go and you play games and this and that. It's more of like a celebratory party. And so with that in mind, you want everyone who's going to celebrate the coming baby to be male and female.
Am I a horrible?
Or you may end up
person?
going. No, I mean, I get it. I wouldn't want. I mean, I had to go to a wedding shower a couple weeks back. That was, both men and women were there. It was a great time and ended up being a party. But like, you have to get out of the mindset of like what you think a baby shower is.
No, I've been to baby showers, but my point is I don't understand why I get invited
Because they've
and why I have to
evolved
go.
beyond that. They're now more celebratory things than like let us shower you and play games like pin the pacifier on the baby's face. I don't know what kind
I'm
of
so
games
bad
they play.
because I must be a horrible person because I don't care. I don't want to go. I don't care. My own baby, I'll have a baby shower, but that's fine.
I'm with you on that because when you were like, "Oh yeah, you're the perfect guest to ask," I was like, "I've been to one baby shower in my whole life, and I was miserable the entire. Like, the baby's not here.
Right.
Let's have a party when the baby shows up so I can meet it."
Just in the past, I've witnessed that women are more happy for their women friends when they're having a baby. Right.
Oh, I'm not. One of my friends, she surprised me. We went out for coffee, and this is a little while ago. And she was like, "Guess what? I'm pregnant." And I went, "That's the end, isn't it?"
Oh.
And I was right. She has no life now. And I haven't seen her in months.
Yeah.
But that's
Until
my
they're
opinion.
self-sufficient.
I'm a dark person. Yeah, but it's true. That was the end. Like, that was it. But
Until babies or kids become self-sufficient, it is tough to work that. I mean, basically, and that's like when they turn 18. So
any women who are watching the show, don't ask your guy friends to your baby shower.
Listen, not everyone's Steve. If you want to invite people to a baby shower, here's what I say as an alternative to that, Steve. Invite whoever you want, but don't be insulted if they say no.
I feel so bad because I'm such a shitty person for not wanting to go.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because you don't think it's going to be a fun time, though, right?
No, I don't care. I don't want to go.
I mean, I guess you're just not a big partier, though, in general.
I'm not a big partier, but I don't care that. Like, it's cool that you're having a baby. I'll send you a card. Congratulations. I don't want to go to a baby shower. I don't want to go to, like, I guess I hate being forced into doing something that, like, you know what I mean?
For anyone listening, just don't go to Steve's baby shower. There you go.
You know what? If you will not get invited to my baby, I will not make you go to my baby shower. I'm going to literally tell my fiance, don't invite any men. It's a woman's only baby shower. Unless the guy wants to go, but he's not invited.
I think what you have to realize, though, too, is the whole idea of, like, kids being a community thing. And so you're starting the community aspect early. You're having people come and share their wisdom and things like that who have kids. Like, it's a very preparatory thing for having a child. It's celebratory, but it's also like, hey, like, I know, was it a baby shower like years ago that I went to? It was like, write down a ton of stuff that like are things you never knew you needed to know about having a kid until it happened. And then you have this jar and people open it up and they're like, oh, it's 6. Your kid may just start doing this. And so when it happens, you're just like, oh, cool. Like, I'm not going to be thrown off. It's normal for my kid to eat glue at 6. I don't fucking know. But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this whole idea of like community around it, I think.
Also,
Cool.
I think the idea, like, I have friends of all genders, and if I want to celebrate like an element of my life with all my friends, then I want them to come. Uh, so I don't care what their gender is, but I want them to celebrate with me. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's more it. Like it's just like, no, we just want to celebrate with all of our friends.
Nah.
Babies are not just for women anymore. Like let's just I mean, the birthing process, yes, but let's celebrate the whole thing with everybody we love.
I mean, that's
And
kind
then
of a
Steve will
celebratory thing.
not come.
That's kind of a celebratory thing nowadays with more people than it used to be. You have
Yeah.
photographers and videographers coming in there to do it, like professional. Oh,
In-
bro, you have no idea.
In the birthing
Bro,
process?
you have no idea. Yes, literally in the birthing process.
Pass.
Professional
Hard pass.
photographers. Dude, you know how much money they make?
I mean, I'm sure they make a ton, but that's gross. Like nobody looks good in that moment. Why you want
They
to?
don't care. It's the whole
No.
like it's the moment. And
Nope.
dude, they make a ton of money. And yeah, I don't get it either. But
What are they taking pictures of?
well, just imagine when a woman is giving birth, Kayla.
She poops herself.
They're sitting on they're
That's
laying on
true.
the table. Everything, literally, like the process.
So if you've ever wanted an opportunity to get a picture of you pooping, now's your chance. Like that
No,
seems
well,
like
that's never been a
that's the worst
goal.
part. Huh?
Yeah.
It's not even the worst part. You could.
I mean, there's a lot of like things you just don't need to capture on film. And listen, to each their own. Again, I'm not going to knock anyone for wanting that, but I feel like that's like unless it was like your friend who does this professionally, who's very close, and it's someone who you'd be comfortable having in the room anyway, which seems a little weird. Like, I feel like that's almost like a little invasive in a very personal moment. I don't know, man.
No, dude. Hey, I totally hear you. But the crazy thing is for that couple, that's the most important time of someone's life. They want to obviously have it documented. It's kind of, I guess, I don't know. I could never do it.
I think that goes a lot to the whole social media idea these days where like everything needs to be captured in a picture. Like granted, they've done studies and human memory is absolutely terrible. Like things you remember that happened 5 minutes ago did not in fact happen the way you remember it. But like, it's one of those things where like, again, you go to any sort of like memorable event now. I mean, God, when's the last time you went to like pre-pandemic, obviously, but when you went to like a live concert, the amount of people who are standing there with their phone up recording and watching their phone instead of what's happening in front of them, like to me, that has that whole vibe to it where it's like, oh, let's capture this important moment, but not actually live the moment. Like clearly the woman is living the moment because she can't exactly be like, oh, let me check out my phone. Like she's in the process of doing something there. But like, I'd rather be in the moment and not have photos and video and have what I remember than like basically miss the moment because I'm so concerned about the other stuff. And that seems like a lot.
I think, in that moment, everything is different, right?
Nah.
Like literally, like you said, the woman is experiencing 100% different of what the husband's experiencing or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a husband. It could be female, whatever. You get the idea. But whoever is in the room, they're both experiencing something totally different. You can tell one person this is what's happening, but they don't have the visual, unless there's like a big mirror up there and they can look, which I don't know if that even existed.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying, like, if the one who is giving birth, they don't know what it actually is happening, like visually, because they can't see.
But
You know
like,
what
do
I'm
you
saying?
want to know what's
Yeah,
happening?
because they're in pain. They're
That's
in
my
pain.
point.
They're
So-
blind now.
That
Well,
might be intentional. Like
that's my
physics,
point.
like anatomy works a specific way so that you don't see this like
I don't know. but what I'm
probably
saying is
traumatizing thing.
that's why they have photographers come in, because they can witness it from the other side, which is in a lot of people's eyes the most beautiful moment ever. You know what I mean? So, like, I get it.
I just wanted to say hello and welcome to all the people that have joined during this very strange conversation. Hello,
People
Dawn.
love
I
it.
see you, Tyler. Wow, y'all walked into a special time.
I love how
We're talking
everybody's
about
like, "What did
life?
I walk into?"
Yeah.
Welcome to Deckin Around. You never know what you're gonna get here.
That's true. Look, we could talk about hamburgers now or vegan, whatever. Doesn't matter.
So a revelation that did come up earlier in the pre-show before, while Steve was eating chicken and I was eating a sausage, we found out that Kayla is vegan,
Yeah.
and she's
We're
one
the
of my
worst.
favorite.
We're the
No, but
worst.
she's one of my favorite vegans because she's not the vegan who's like, you need to be vegan too, and so I appreciate that. Or she wasn't like
Uh-huh.
crying because we were eating meat, so we appreciate that. But
wipes it away.
silent tears. I get it. But so, what A prompted you to become vegan, and B, what's your favorite vegan dish you've ever had?
So let's see. I haven't really been asked that question. Funny enough, a couple years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, we had some friends that were. I love them very dearly, but they are the kind of vegans that are like, listen, what I know, because I haven't had meat since I was 14. I don't like meat. Like it's something, I don't like the texture. I'm a big texture person with food.
Okay.
I just don't like meat. So at 14 years old, I had like a bad chicken sandwich and I went, I'm done. And I just haven't had meat since.
I can get that.
And
I totally understand that too.
yeah, it's just horrible.
I think everybody's had a bad chicken sandwich.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And it was, of course, like a school lunch one. And I was like, nope, no, I'm done.
Oh.
I quit. But I still ate like cheese and eggs and stuff. And I remember my friends, I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could go vegan. Like, I enjoy eggs. And my friend went, oh, so you're fine eating the gestation of a chicken? And then I went, I think I'm going to go vegan. So we tried going vegan for a month. We just said, you know what, let's just try it. We don't know what we're doing. So let's just experiment. And my partner Harrison and I, we ate vegan for a month. And we felt amazing. We had so much energy. We were sleeping better. Like, it just was so much better. And then immediately after that month, right back to normal. But I had some health issues arise. And so I had to cut gluten, sugar, and dairy all in the same time.
Damn.
So walk through that diet.
Yeah, I'm sure the sugar was tough too.
I've done a
like,
30-day cleanse with that diet.
I mean, sugar's basically like crack. So that's got to be.
I had withdrawals.
I'm sure.
I snapped at people that didn't deserve to be snapped at. And I'm a snappy person, but it was like, people be like, hey, Kayla, how are you? I'd be like, shut up. You're so loud. Like, for no reason. I was an awful person during that time. And so I cut those 3 things, and Harrison did it with me. So just as support, like to have the house just be free of all of these things that I couldn't eat anymore. And I had to do this for 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, I went, I don't want any of it anymore. I just don't want cheese. So I still ate eggs for a while. And then we just decided, you know, let's just do this. Harrison, because he had been cutting it and having meat once a month, he then went, I just don't want meat anymore. Like, I'm not interested in it. And of course, cheese and eggs were kind of the last thing to go. So it happened kind of over the course of about 6 months. And then with the exception of travel, and when I'm traveling and I'm in the middle of like Corbin freaking Kentucky, and the only thing to eat is, not putting cheese on a salad is confusing. Yeah. There's occasional things that, like, a lot of things made with egg or cooked in butter will make its way into a meal. But besides that, yeah, vegan. I love it. I feel amazing. My all the health issues that I have are so much better. They immediately get worse if I eat dairy or sugar or gluten. But everything, occasionally Thanksgiving, of course, I'll go all out with all of that. But I'll feel terrible for like a week. And so it's good. And it's really, for me, I'm also a big environment. As I told you, that was what I studied in college. And so veganism is like a way that I can contribute a little bit to helping the environment, things like that. So I love it. But also, Harrison loves cooking for people. And so we'll cook vegan food for people so that they can like experience really cool vegan food.
Nice.
But otherwise, like, do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you don't want to be vegan, I can't force you into it. I'll help you if you want. I'm happy to help and be like, try this. It's really good. But yeah, I'm not gonna force you.
Yeah.
So without
I hear you. It's not like
yeah, that's tough.
It's not like we're walking around trying to force vegans and vegetarians to eat meat.
Yeah.
So like, how did like you said, you went through withdrawals for the sugar side of things, like? How has that kind of impacted you now, though? Like, are you just not like a dessert person anymore? Or do you look for more savory desserts, or is it kind of just like whatever food's food at this point?
Well, I eat the occasional sugar, so I try not to, like, I'll go for ice cream that's made with agave or maple syrup instead of sugar. There's some really good vegan ice cream that's made with more natural sugar alternatives like maple syrup, and so I'll go for that, and that's totally fine. But especially in the US, you can't avoid, like, if I want salt and vinegar chips are my favorite thing to eat in the whole wide world, almost. And like, they're top 5. Almost all salt and vinegar chips that you would find in the grocery store have sugar in them. Some of them have dairy, which makes no freaking sense to me. How?
And dairy?
Why would you put? Yeah, they have like malt. Sometimes there's malt in salt and vinegar chips. I don't understand. The world is very weird. So the amount of reading labels I have to do is obnoxious. But yeah, I feel much better. I love just fruit. I'll eat fruit as a dessert. There's some really good chocolates that don't have cane sugar in them. And baking and stuff, we just use beet sugar, coconut sugar, just the more
more fruit-based stuff, a little more.
It's a lot better.
Sugar. Yeah. I mean, processed food in general, as much as I think that's one of the best parts about traveling outside the country is you realize how much processed food we eat, and you have an opportunity to eat non-processed food, and you're like, wow, this tastes great. I feel better. You come home and you're like, craft singles, and you're like, this is disgusting. You're like, any of the stuff that we eat that's just like
craft singles. Do people eat those like on a normal basis, you think?
I don't know. I was trying to think of the most processed food I could think of, and it's definitely craft singles.
It's so funny because, dude, I hate craft singles. I'll use them one time. I'll use them literally on one thing.
Grilled cheese.
And no.
Oh,
the
man.
only time I'll use them is on when I have scrambled eggs and I'm in the mood for like cheesy scrambled eggs.
Dude, you gotta use like nice Wisconsin sharp cheddar for that. It's delicious.
No, the consistency. I like the consistency of the.
I'm gonna have to make you scrambled
American
eggs sometime.
cheese.
I'm gonna have to make you scrambled eggs sometime.
Bro,
Kraft sounds terrible at eggs.
No, dude, it's so. I don't know. It's just when I'm in the mood for that specific type.
Kayla looks
Normally, I'll do
appalled.
like cheddar or something like that. What'd you say?
Kayla looks appalled. She's like, "Oh my god, no!"
Oh,
I'm
Leslie,
genuinely concerned for your safety. Like, that
Leslie-
sounds awful.
Yeah,
Any
no,
cheese
Leslie
that
does
you
the
could
same thing.
accidentally
She's like, "What are
cook
you doing?"
with the plastic on and not realize until it's too late, not a good cheese. Like the amount of times I've seen people accidentally cook a grilled cheese with Kraft singles and not take the plastic off and not realize it, dude, happens all the time. And then they like bite into it and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
I agree with Dawn in the comments. That's not real cheese.
No, it's definitely not real cheese.
I'm not saying I like it by any stretch of the imagination. I know it's not even
cheese food.
It's
technically it's cheese food is what they call it.
Sure,
and it's basically,
fine.
but it's not that I'm defending it here, but it is a byproduct of the cheese making process. It's basically like reformed curds or something like that. So it's just like an earlier stage of the cheese process, but it doesn't go through the whole aging aspect that cheese goes through. So it's not like it's like, oh, they're making it out of, something disgusting. It's just cheese food.
I don't eat it consistently. I might eat it twice a year when I'm just, I want some cheesy like scrambled eggs. And I'll put like 3 slices on like 3 eggs.
Oh,
dude, it's so good.
3?
Oh, I'm telling you, when I'm in the mood for it, I want 3 eggs scrambled with like 2 or 3 slices of cheese. Oh,
I can get that. Here's where I can understand that, because there's a distinct flavor that things like Kraft cheese has that nothing else hits the spot with it. I've had this discussion a lot recently, and I don't know why, about like Taco Bell versus Mexican food. And it's like when you're in the mood for Mexican food, you eat Mexican food. When you're in the mood for Taco Bell, nothing else tastes like Taco Bell. And it's probably because it's terrible and it's garbage. But like when you want those flavors, it's like saying like, oh, I want a hamburger. You don't go to White Castle if you want a hamburger. Like you want White Castle or you want real burgers. Like that's just how it is. Like all those things that have that very distinct flavor.
Yeah.
Like you just can't replicate them with something else. So I can see why you go for the Kraft cheese, but like
no, for sure. And it's like literally twice a year.
Gross.
Do people get in the mood for Taco Bell?
Yeah, I do once a year. I eat a lot of
okay.
Yeah. I don't. That's like my
only. It feels
only,
more like a convenience thing.
So it's like my once a year, like
Taco Bell.
Something about like Taco Bell, like once a year. That's like my only fast food splurge. I really do. Like once a year, I'll have Taco Bell. That's my fast food. Done.
And it totally happens. So I haven't had a fast food probably in 20 years. The last time I had Kentucky Fried Chicken was literally probably 20 years ago. And no lie, 4 months ago, Leslie and I were like, I was like, I want Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm in the mood for their original chicken with their powdered potatoes. Like, that's what I want. And I'm really in the mood for that right now. So we went and got KFC, and it was the worst experience ever.
Oh, man.
So literally, we were killing ourselves because we were like, oh, well, we ate it. It was what it was, and now I won't eat it for another 20 years. But you just get those cravings that, like Tyler said, you just can't.
Yeah, you can't satisfy something else. Like,
Yeah.
It's just how it goes sometimes. Like, rolling back to it though, what's your favorite vegan dish? Like, if you had to pick one dish where you were like, hey, listen, like, I know you don't eat vegan food, but you gotta try this, what would it be?
So I'll give kind of two answers, because one is going to be like a restaurant, one's going to be something you can make at home. So there's this place called Ono Sushi in LA, where I was telling you guys before we started that there's this food truck fair on Sundays right down the street from where I live. It's all vegan, and we found them there during the pandemic. We were ordering like once a week from this guy. Basically, he just makes the sushi in his kitchen, I think. And then you literally WhatsApp him and go, here's my order. And then he shows up at the house when it's genius.
That's awesome.
That's great.
It's the best sushi I've ever had. And he has shrimp, like vegan shrimp.
Okay.
And that's really, really good. And normally I don't really care for it, but everyone we give that to is like, whoa, that is like a shrimp roll. It's amazing. So that's easily my favorite vegan thing that I've ever eaten. But I think if you're going to make something at home, my partner makes this amazing vegan Reuben. And there's this meat you can get at the grocery store, vegan meat called Mrs. Goldfarb's Unreal Deli. And I was telling you about this, but it's this woman. She was on Shark Tank. This woman, she grew up Jewish, going to Jewish delis. And she became vegan and went, oh, I miss the Reubens, I miss the corned beef, I miss all of that. So she created this vegan deli meat, and you buy it in slices. It's just like how you would buy a pack of deli meat. And he makes these amazing like turkey Reuben, corned beef Reuben with sauerkraut, and instead of cheese, he puts avocado on it and and rye. It's so good. And so people have come over for these Reubens.
That sounds delicious.
Amazing. Yeah. So that's my favorite.
I'll make it. I'll have to track some down and make it for my mom when she's here.
Yeah. Well,
I won't even tell her. I'll just tell her I made her a Reuben.
You should come. You should just come over and we'll make it for you. You can test it and we'll show you how to do it. That'd be great. You don't live that far, right?
You're close. Yeah. I mean, I'm up north. You're in LA.
Yeah. Done.
We'll make it happen.
Nice.
It's gonna be great.
My mom will be out there in January, so she'll stop by and you can make her a Reuben.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Oh my god, I'd love to see Janice's reaction to non-meat Reubens.
Yeah, it'd be funny. I won't say a thing.
Be
you don't say anything, then you go from there, and then you're like, just kidding. It's made of.
Does it look like corned beef?
It does.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of expectation with food is visual. Like a lot of like,
yeah, I know, but it's weird nowadays. Like everything looks like it needs to, but it's just weird how they make it look like that. Like, what's the process of making anything look like corned beef? Like corned beef's weird. It's like in these segments, it's just weird. How do you make it look like that?
Probably like some like red dye, but like natural red dye.
Yeah, not like the.
You know what? If we
very possible.
Yeah, like I don't know. The visual aspect I completely get though too, because like when's the last time you actually talk to someone? They're like, oh, my favorite food is like soup. Like soup is like visually unappealing.
Wait, is that white?
Can you see the turkey?
That's like the turkey one. Yeah.
Oh, that's the turkey one. Okay,
that really that's impressive.
But let's see the corned beef. That's what I want to see is the corned beef one, because that's.
I can't find it on his. Let me.
What's it called? Miss Goldfarb's?
Yeah, Unreal Deli corned beef.
Unreal Deli.
Ah, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, like
that really does look like corned beef, though.
Right?
How the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah, she's a genius. It's amazing.
How on earth?
Ryan Schlatz. Of course, I talk shit on soup, and Ryan's like, hey, I really like soup. One of my faves. Ryan, what's your favorite type of soup? And is it your favorite dish? That's the thing. I don't think anyone out there is ever like, oh, my favorite food, hands down, is soup. because soup isn't like super visually appealing.
Oh,
Like,
dude, soup is bomb. I love soup. I'm with Ryan on that.
but like, is your favorite meal ever a
No,
soup?
no, 100% no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's definitely good soup out there, but I don't think if anyone was like, oh, I can only eat one thing for the rest of my life, anybody's picking soup.
I mean, it depends. Some people would. Some
I don't
Jews
know.
So what
would.
kind?
Some Jews would.
Oh
if
my
matzo balls were
God.
included.
I used
Do
to
you
love
know
matzo
what?
ball soup growing up.
I would definitely if you were like, okay, what on this list of things and matzo ball soup was on there, chances are I would pick it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny. I went to a Jewish restaurant probably a couple weeks ago, and you have to get matzo ball soup at all Jewish restaurants, and it just wasn't that good.
I don't know how you mess up matzo ball soup though, because it's a pretty like simple recipe.
Dude, no, everybody does it different. The whole concept of obviously matzo ball soup is the same, but it's all about the matzo balls. It's all about how you make your matzo balls. Are they soft? Are they hard? Are they flavored different? Like how are they cooked in the soup, or are they cooked separate and added to? Like there's so much that goes into making matzo balls, dude.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you have to
I agree.
contend with like the family version of matzo ball. So if you go to a restaurant, everybody's mom makes it the best, right? So when you go to a restaurant, it's just it's just not the same.
I'm gonna like drop like sacrilege here. I've only ever had matzo ball soup made by my dad, who's a Polish dude, so who's not Jewish at all.
A lot of Jewish people come
who's not
from
Jewish
Poland.
at all. Who's not Jewish at all though. Like, we just happened to be one day. He was like, "Oh, cool! Like, I'm gonna try making matzo ball soup." And for some reason, I distinctly remember eating like lots of matzo ball soup as a kid because I think it was like relatively easy and I enjoyed it. And you know how picky kids can be with food, so it's like, oh, you find something you like, go with it. But I've never had like legit matzo ball soup. I don't have any like expectation as to what like the best matzo ball soup would actually taste like.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of people put way too much onions in it. Some people don't put carrots. There's so much that goes into matzo ball soup.
Okay, interesting.
You gotta have a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go on like a food journey to find the best matzo ball soup.
Yeah,
We'll have
that's
Janice
a
make you a bowl.
YouTube series.
Yeah, I'd be down
We'll
for
have
it.
Janice make you a bowl.
Dude, that's the good thing about being on the East Coast is like I feel like I'm very close to like food meccas where I can try to find like the best matzo ball soup. So,
Dude, you have one of the best freaking Jewish delis in the country in New York.
what, Cats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make
I could definitely
like
go there.
hands down one of the best like Reubens you can get.
I'll have to try his
They're
matzo ball
literally
soup.
like this big.
There's actually a place not too far from me too that does like really ridiculously like large Reubens as well, and they also do like I can't remember what it's called now, but I went there not too long ago, and they do like 10-person Reuben platters where it's like basically the sandwich is like a 40-pound sandwich, and you're like, all right, this is insane.
Yeah,
Is that
crazy.
that's in Jersey? Is all of their food really oversized? Because I
Yes.
think I've been there.
Yes.
What is it called?
I can't remember now. They have 2 locations actually too, and I cannot remember what it's called. But we went there like probably last year this time to like get together with a bunch of people, and the food was really good. But it was like, oh, you want like a Reuben? Well, sorry, we only have the smallest size we have is a 2-pound Reuben, and you're like, I don't think I can eat 2 pounds of corned beef at 11 a.m.
Dude,
So-
there's a
I remember
cat
getting the
down-
chocolate cake. The chocolate cake is like
You
a
can't go wrong with
slice.
oversized chocolate cake. I mean, that's the way to go.
Dude,
Yep.
there's a Cat's Deli in San Francisco now.
Oh,
Interesting. Anyway.
that's exciting.
Man.
Listen, I just want to point out that you also live really close to my favorite place in the planet, which is Mr. Ming's Not a Chinese Restaurant.
I'm gonna have to check this out for real, Mr. Ming's.
You have to tell. We were talking about this obviously during our test chat, but you have to tell our viewers about this place.
Okay, everyone, buckle up.
This
I'm
place
going
is
to tell
amazing.
you about the greatest restaurant on the planet. It's in Rahway, New Jersey. Why would you go to Rahway? No idea. But
Either for
now
this
you
or
have
for
a
prison.
reason. Yep,
For that or
Mr.
prison, and let's
Ming's.
hope it's not prison.
that's a good point. Well, if you're in prison, I would assume you're not going to Mr. Ming's Not a Chinese Restaurant. But if
Right.
you are in Rahway, not in prison, you have to go to Mr. Ming's Not a Chinese Restaurant. That is, in fact, the entire title of the restaurant. If you Google it on Google Maps, it does say Mr. Ming's Not a Chinese Restaurant. On the outside of the restaurant, Mr. Ming's Not a Chinese Restaurant. When you
That's
walk
too
in to the restaurant, and I say restaurant in the loosest of terms,
It is a diner, and there are seats at the bar that have definitely been there and not refurbished since 1976. Then there are tables. And
I was 1
there
years
are
old, just so you know.
Oh, wow. I wasn't born yet, so that's cool. I want to know more about it. So there are 4 tables, I think, 4 or 5 tables, and a total of 2 chairs. Not per table, 2 chairs. So
Two
if
chairs in the
someone's
whole
already
restaurant?
in the whole, besides the bar seats, there are 2 chairs in the whole restaurant. And there might be some in the back, but it's just perfect. And when you come in, you find a place to sit, if you can, and Mr. Ming comes over and throws down a pad of paper with a pen and says, write down your order. No menu. It's because the menu is taped up on those really big sheets of paper that you would have in school, like on the easel. They're taped up on the wall behind you. They're different shades of brown because they've also been there since 1976. And the menu, the prices have been the same since about that time. So like the 2 eggs and bacon or whatever is like 76 cents, which is not how much you get charged. And then you write down your order, and then Mr. Ming comes over and takes a pad of paper and asks a lot of questions because he's not quite sure what OJ is. And so you're like, oh no, orange juice, and then definitely brings you a coffee. And it's awesome. And there are pictures of Marilyn Monroe all over the restaurant. And then there's a cook, and Mr. Ming goes behind the counter and just yells at full volume about 2 feet away from her what you ordered, what you wrote down. And then she yells back.
Does he do it in like a different language?
No, it's in English. He's
that would have
just
been way
screaming.
better if it was in like Chinese, Cantonese or something.
Yeah. I don't think they his first language and her first language are not the same. I think her first language is English. I don't believe his is, if I were to take a guess. And so there's definitely a communication barrier between the 2 of them. And so he just kind of screams like 2 eggs, bacon, sausage, 2 eggs, hash browns, and then she screams back like I can hear you. And then they
They're
fight
like this
for a
far
minute.
apart.
Yes, like literally on the outside of the screen, like just right. So they're super close together, and then she must be not having a good day ever. And then so she's making the food, and then you'll just hear her go, "Don't worry, be happy." There's no music, like there's no other lyrics, no actual tone or notes. She's just going, "Don't worry, be happy." It's like
It's
just
probably
a
his
mantra
wife.
to herself.
It's literally probably his wife.
It could be. It kind of feels like that's possible, but also I'm not 100% sold that they're married. And then so the first time I went, I was with my parents, and so we were loving it. My dad was. My dad literally to this day will just call me up and be like, "Hey, what do you think about just taking a trip to Mr. Ming's?" They loved it so much. And my dad went to pay. And of course, like, you don't actually get how much you owe him. He just like bangs on the cash register and then asks you for money, but doesn't tell you how much. It's very confusing. So my dad handed him a 20, and I guess our food came to like $13. And then my dad said, you can keep the change. And Mr. Ming just started yelling, "Oh God, I gotta change." And then just like is yelling about getting change. And then he hands my dad back the money, which is not also, it wasn't the difference. It was a random amount of money he was giving my dad back. And my dad's like, no, keep the change. It's yours. And he just looked at it and then looked at my dad and was like, "Wait, really?"
It's probably like the first tip he ever got.
Are you kidding me? The guy probably right? Has like 26 cars because he gets amazing tips.
He could be getting amazing tips.
I mean, he embezzles all his money.
Oh my God.
It's my favorite place in the world. I, as a vegan, went back with my vegan friend to have like some coffee and orange juice just so I can show him Mr.
How do you even? It's R-A-H Rahway.
R-A-H-W-A-Y.
Yeah.
New Jersey. It's Mr. Ming's.
Yep, Mr. Ming's.
Not a Chinese restaurant.
Ming's Luncheonette.
I'm almost certain they don't have a website.
Oh wait, they closed down.
Don't you dare. What?
July 2020, they closed down.
Oh man, maybe COVID.
After 32 years. Oh, no way. Nobody can go there anymore. They closed. West
I'm
Grand
actually
Avenue
really sad.
location. Oh, it's like a little house.
Oh, he retired.
Ming Kwong plans to retire. 100% healthy, however, after much thought
what?
due to COVID. Due to COVID risks and working for so long, he felt it was the right time to officially close. Yeah. Well,
I'm
you know
actually
what? You have the
genuinely
memory.
broken.
Now you can't go back. Thanks
I
for
have
hyping this
pictures,
place
too.
up, and none of us can go there.
I'm really sorry, everyone. It's just, what a time.
Uh,
Just what a time.
now you'll just
Well,
have to
I hope
find
my
other
story-
reasons to go to Rahway, New Jersey.
There aren't.
Now they
Yeah,
only
there
have the
are no
prison.
more.
Now you just have
There are
to
none.
commit a crime in Rahway, and you're good.
Oh my god, don't go.
Oh, you know what you could do? You could just call up Mr. Ming and be like, bro, you have the best restaurant on the planet. Can I come to your house and you can cook for me?
Come to your house.
I'm sure it's literally the same exact environment because
It might
his
have
wife's the
actually
cook.
been his house. They probably lived upstairs.
Probably. I mean, it looks like a house, so probably.
If that happened immediately after leaving his house, if I was hit by a bus, it'd be fine.
Hey,
Like, there's
Nope.
no, you can't, all you can go from here is down.
that's funny.
There's
Yeah.
just nothing left to live for.
Good Lord. Dude, we've
I
spent
love
like
it.
98% of this conversation talking about food.
Food
It's
and
great.
babies, yeah.
Food and babies. Such a
Oh,
weird
yeah.
comment. Food, babies, and animals. So
Are
weird.
people still watching?
I don't know.
People are still watching. That's
Of
the
course they
best
are.
part.
So
People
actually, I have a question. You've done so many like things within magic. You know, you've done shows, you've done tours, you've done Penn and Teller. Like, what's been? And obviously, we can go into some of them because they're just fun stuff I'd like to know about. What was your favorite thing? You know, you obviously did traveling with Champions of Magic, Penn and Teller. I mean, I guess I don't want to like say your podcast because it's not like touring or anything, but you could say that. What was like the funnest thing to do within all that stuff?
Performing at San Quentin Prison.
Oh, that's dope.
That's
How
my
long did you do
funnest-
that for?
So it's quite a cool story. So we just went for a day. So this was from it was just when I was in the show Champions of Magic, and
Yeah.
we performed in San Francisco. And the media person was like, "Hey, would you guys be up for doing a morning show at San Quentin Prison?"
That's
And
amazing.
of course, we were like, "Hell yes!"
It's so hard to get
So-
into a prison to do any type of show like that.
Yeah, and it was really interesting because obviously we had to like beforehand put all the props we would be coming in with, and you couldn't
Yeah.
bring your phone, or they had to go through all your stuff to make sure it was good. So one of the guys did like a Bill to Lemon routine, and they couldn't bring in the knife, so he literally had to break it open with his hands. So stuff like that you go, oh my gosh, like that. There's so much that you don't even think about that you have to make sure you can't bring into a prison.
You
Unless
can't. You can only wear certain clothes
Yep, that we couldn't wear the color blue because
because
that's
that's what the inmates wear. Yeah.
exactly. It's really. Have you performed in a prison before?
My friend's a musician and he's performed in there.
Cool. Okay, so you probably get a lot of this, and so it was really cool to like do that. And we had one of the guys who's branded as the show's escape artist. He came out and was like, "Hey everyone, so I'm an escape artist," and then everyone was like, "Yeah, yes, great. It was awesome." And so, I mean, it was genuine. It was so cool, and there were 250 to 300 guys in this. It was their church. We were in the church, and they were just easily the best audience I've ever performed for. So I got up and I was actually pretty nervous to do this. So I have a routine where I talk about my parents. My parents are very terrifying, or were very terrifying people when I was in high school. And that's why no one ever wanted to date me, among other reasons. But that was the big one because my dad was a cop and my mother was a 5-time national judo champion.
Nice.
So, right. And so I was like, oh,
is it a bad idea that I'm going to talk about my dad being a cop in the prison? So I asked one of the guys beforehand, like, hey, is this going to start a riot? And he was like, no, that's funny. And so I went up and I was like, all right, so a little bit about me. My dad was a state police officer. I am very sorry. And they just loved it, right? So they were just really into the humor and the story. And it was very silly. And I made funny jokes and like they were great. And it was awesome. And so after we were done performing, it felt like the only genuine full standing ovation we've ever received. Like it was just so, everyone sprung to their feet at the end. It was just so much fun.
That's awesome.
And so this group of guys came up and we were talking afterwards, and they said, hey, do you guys want to know what we did to land in prison? So of course the answer is yes. So we're like, yeah, let's share those stories. So lots of, a couple people were like, oh, I got caught too many times selling drugs, or one guy had caught his wife in bed with his best friend and killed them both. And this one guy says, just deadpan, goes, I actually when I was 18, I killed a cop, looked at me and went, just like your dad.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And so most people who have any sort of emotional range would probably have broke down and not been okay. And instead I went, well, let's talk. And so he and I talked for 3-4 hours just on this tour of the prison. We just walked around together, and he asked me, like, hey, what do you think of the justice system in America? And I was like, I think the answer is, if I were to look out amongst the 300 people in that show today, there were only 3 to 4 white men. And I think that kind of tells you everything. And he was like, yep, let's talk more about that. So we got into really cool conversations, and like, he's never seen a cell phone. He's 65 years old. He's never seen a cell phone or a flat screen TV. And now because he joined a gang when he was 18, he now is like, okay, I need to help the youth of this country, especially kids of color, like find their passion, find the thing that they're good at, and make sure they know they don't have to join a gang in order to survive in this world. And so he's doing really cool things. We're on this tour, right? And so we get to the death row housing, and I'm one of those crazy true crime women, right? So I'm really into true crime. My dad and I grew up watching, right? It's so good.
I always joke around. Leslie and I are always like going, like, that's all we watch basically. And I always say, if anything ever happened to either one of us, the other one is going to be guilty. Well, they're going to be like already considered guilty, because they're going to go through obviously my YouTube channel and my TV, and that's all they're going to see is things on serial killers and suicide and whatever you name it. It's all crime.
Yeah. Yep. My dad and I used to watch Forensic Files and Unsolved Mysteries and the documentary about the Iceman, and like this is just our life, right? Like I as like a 18-year-old kid watched live every single day the Scott Peterson trial.
Nice.
I love it. And so, but I grew up around that world, and we get to the death row housing, and the person who's giving us a tour, who's an employee at San Quentin, was like, all right, so this is death row housing. We have 2 buildings, and we have some crazy statistic, like 500 inmates that are responsible for 3,000 murders. And it was like just a crazy amount, right? And so he goes, we have some really high profile people in here. And I was like, what building is Scott Peterson in? And he was like, oh, that one. I'm like, cool, thank you so much. What building is Lawrence Bittaker in? And he's like, oh, this one. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you so much. And he was like, so normally, we can't give people a tour of death row because obviously it's a bit dangerous and kind of creepy, but you guys really did us a solid today, so let's go inside.
Nice.
So we got a tour of death row, which was insane. We met a man who wrote the San Quentin cookbook, and we were going to buy it until we looked up what he did. It's I won't say it, it's very concerning. But then we walk by and we see the cell of Lawrence Bittaker, who is otherwise known as the Toolbox Killer. And I was like, okay, hello. Oh, he's not in here. Darn. I was really excited to meet that guy. So we walk around, do the whole tour, come back down. And as we're leaving, this guy in a wheelchair rolls up and he sees me, who's obviously the only woman in the entire prison. And he sees me and he goes, hey, what are you doing in here, pretty lady? You
Oh,
know, it's not
God.
it's not a very, right? He's like, you know, it can be a dangerous place in here. And I looked at him and went, I'm pretty sure I can outrun you.
Did
And
you
he
say
laughed
that?
and is like, yeah. He laughed. He's like, oh, you're funny. And he gets into his cell and we're leaving. And I was like, good banter with someone on death row. All right. And the tour guide goes, do you know who that was? Oh, that's Lawrence Bittaker. You just met the toolbox killer and had a joke. You had banter with a. I couldn't
That's cool.
believe it. Best
That's
moment of my
crazy.
life. So he died 2 weeks later.
That guy is
So
the weirdest looking dude too. He's got like a weird mug, that's for sure.
really,
It's like
really concerning.
scrunched and like he's a weird looking dude.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I mean, the whole day, just like getting to talk to people. And I think sometimes it's really, really easy to assume that someone who has committed a violent crime or any crime at all is not a person. And I don't think I went in fully with that idea, but I can see it in ways where I was like, oh, this is like I'm just watching a documentary, but actually
Yeah.
they're people. And I got to talk to them and about why they ended up in there, and like extensively just about politics and the justice system and all this stuff. And it was just a really amazing experience. Plus I got to, what I realized in that day is that magic is such a strong way of connecting people who normally would not connect. Like, in what world would I have spoken for 4 hours with a guy who killed a cop just like my dad? Like, that would have never happened in the real life if I didn't have magic to bring that conversation forward. And so because that happened, and because, I think I'm a fairly authentic performer, and you can sense my personality and what my interests and my sense of humor and stuff, that automatically connected this guy and myself, and we got to chat. And I've even sent him an email, like we emailed a little, and it's just really cool to have had that experience and get to just literally, there will never be anything I think in life that will be so as impactful and as interesting as that story.
Oh yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
100%. I mean, I would
Yeah.
love to do something like that. Just go in there, and I mean, my friend said it was one of the most amazing things that he's ever done as well, because a lot of them are in there just because of bad choices. Obviously, a lot of them in there because they're horrible people, but a lot of them have just made horrible choices in times of struggle, I guess you can say, or in times, just when they're not in the best place,
Yeah.
and they just make horrible decisions, and that's why they're there. But ultimately, they're good people, But it's definitely a life-changing experience, I'm sure.
So, yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just
it was
saved your life.
totally. Yeah, it definitely also makes me, not that I was anywhere near close to committing a crime, but I definitely don't want to. Like, I definitely don't want to end up in prison anytime soon. But getting to like hear their experience and hear why they got there and hear what they, how they've changed as people after, again, this guy has been in prison for 50 plus years, and how he's just trying to make the world a better place from inside of a place he'll never leave. Like, he's Morgan Freeman in Shawshank, right?
Yeah.
So he'll never be able to get out, and I think he totally gets that, but he's trying to still make the world a better place, and it's really awesome. So
Yeah.
it was
It's gotta
great.
change. It's gotta change your mentality too when you realize you're not getting out. Like, I'm sure even someone who gets, consecutive life sentences and sits there and realizes at first knowing that you're not getting out and actually having it like sink in, it's got to be like a mind altering kind of experience as well. So
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Stanley Tukey Williams. I mean, obviously, he was actually put to death in, in California, I believe. Was it California, right? It might have been actually San Quentin. Was it Tukey?
It might have been. There hasn't been a death row since like the 90s, but like
Yeah, no,
someone
it
actually
was-
put to
yeah,
death.
he
I think
died
it
at
was-
San Quentin. Yeah,
Yeah, it was San Quentin. It was like 93, 92,
90.
Okay.
It was 2005.
2005.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember it like the day, because Schwarzenegger could have totally, gave him the whatchamacallit? Fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? Pardon, thank you. But what happened was while he was in jail, he organized the Crips and the Bloods, kind of a peace rally in LA, which is one of the biggest peace rallies, and he did it from prison. So it's pretty interesting the work that people can do. I mean, obviously he was high up in the gang affiliation, but once he went to jail, he happened to end up in jail because of just being in the gang. And at that time, doesn't matter if you did anything wrong, you were in the gang, you were a leader in the gang, you were guilty, but just being able to do something like that from prison tells you what type of person, people can be in there.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. It kind of makes you think,
So
Yeah.
now that we know your most impactful, obviously, performance that you've had an opportunity to do, what's one place that you would be like, all right, I'd never go back here and perform again?
Rahway, New Jersey. No, just kidding.
No. Well, now what's the point? Mr. Ming is not there.
No, but you might be able to do some shows at the prisons there.
Oh my god.
That'd be so cool.
It's medium security, so it's not going to be as hard as St. Quentin, but
Yeah.
That'd be. I would love to do a prison tour. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be
Just
dope.
like, yeah, I would love to go back to San Quentin for sure. But I think a general prison tour would be really fun. So maybe one day. I don't know how to organize that, but someone will. So I'll reach out. Bowie, do you know? He's asleep.
He hasn't made a move the whole time.
yeah.
Nope. Well, I mean, you're not smelling it,
Oh, okay.
but yeah,
He's made a couple
besides
moves.
that,
Yeah, just
He's
not
made
great.
yeah, his digestive system has made a few moves for sure.
Nice. Okay.
It is awful. No, what's one place I would not go back? I didn't love Corbin, Kentucky.
All right.
Corbin.
I did not love, and it had nothing to do with like the people. It had nothing to do with the people or Kentucky or whatever. It just wasn't. There's just nothing around, and the only place to eat was like an Applebee's or the gas station, and it wasn't my favorite location. It was also, in the tour, we had one of the guys in the show is from Mexico originally, but he's moved to the U.S. as a U.S. citizen, and he used to talk about this as his opener, just to be like, yeah, here, listen, here's how cool I am. Check this out. And he said, hey, everyone, I'm from Mexico, and he got booed.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And it was
Super
a
racist.
very, it wasn't my favorite show or favorite audience. It's like also, it was a very tough day of an experience. So I probably wouldn't fight to go back to Corbin, Kentucky.
What if Mr.
So
Ming opened up his restaurant in Corbin,
then
Kentucky?
I'd be there in a heartbeat. Yeah, heartbeat. I'd literally get on a plane right now. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. There really aren't many places that I disliked. I mean, even I get made fun of all the time because my favorite places when we toured England, my favorite places are places that people from England are like, that place is a dump. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's awesome. So I love finding little gems in like a coffee shop or a bar or whatever that's around. And then I remember the place because of that cool place that we located.
Yeah.
And so as long as I can find a cool place, I'm happy. And I think that's why I didn't love Corbin, is because amongst multiple reasons, but I didn't love it because there just
Applebee's wasn't doing it for you.
it's not it's just not my go-to,
Yeah, no, I get that. That's
Now,
like
what
my
was-
last
well,
choice.
How long were you on tour with Champions of Magic?
So I was in the show for 4 years, but that does
Wow.
include the pandemic. So I did 3-ish years of touring.
Nice.
Not straight. I mean, we would have like a 3 to 4 month break on occasion, but at kind of our biggest time, I want to say we were gone on tour probably 25 to 30 weeks out of the year.
Wow.
At our max. Other times it was not as much, but it was quite a lot. And then plus any shows that I would be doing on my own. So I would be gone from home 30, 35 weeks out of the year. It gets exhausting, but it's a really cool experience. If people ever have the chance to tour, I really recommend it. But also I wish I was more prepared. I wish there was a book
that I could have grabbed that was like, all right, here's what you need to know about tour life.
You need like a baby
Bring-
shower for tours.
Yeah. Would you come? Would you come, Steve?
No, probably not. I've been on a tour, so I've been there, done that, and you know what? I'm a firm believer in if you want information, just call me. I'll let you know. But other than that, you got to witness it yourself.
Yeah. I do wish I knew more going into it, and just like staying healthy and staying sane and how to get sleep, and living on a bus is tough if you don't know what you're doing.
Do you like
So-
sleeping in a coffin? Did you enjoy that, or?
No. It was one time I woke up and I thought I genuinely, because I had had a nightmare that I was buried alive, and I woke up facing the wall in my bunk, and I was awake thinking, oh my God, it's real. I'm buried, like, right? So I started reaching around, and I reached up, and then something tickled my fingers, and I was like, oh, okay. So I can get out of here. It's totally fine. And I was like, all right, let me just scoot over. And as I rolled over, I realized I was just in my bunk, and I could draw the shades. And the guy above me when I stuck my fingers through, he saw my hands and he tickled my fingers. And he didn't know that it freaked me out. Like, I
That's
didn't know.
hilarious. Oh, the one thing that was the worst thing about riding on a bus. I can't say the worst. The worst thing about the sleeping aspect, because obviously when you go in there, it's really small. It's literally like sleeping in a coffin. But the worst thing is when the air is on, right? And it's either at your feet or at your head. And there's nothing worse than having the air conditioning or whatever. Even if the air conditioning is not on, you know how when you're driving, air comes out anyway.
Mhm.
So it's like either at your feet, you have to cover your feet, otherwise they're going to be freezing, and you don't want it at your head because obviously getting air blown in your face the whole time. There's so many things about. Yeah.
Yep, you're cutting out a little bit there, Steve.
Ooh, Frozen.
We'll get him back.
It's fine.
It was a very thoughtful face there too.
God
Yep.
damn it. So annoying. Anyway,
I
so
agree with you, because it's
the
like
air
you're
vents
also,
are horrible.
you're also hot, right? So you're like, oh, I'm hot, and the only option is that either my feet or my face are going to be the temperature I want, and then the rest of me will be warm.
Yeah.
It's
and
tough.
you got to be careful what you eat because you can't poop on the bus.
Yeah. That's one people don't like. People are shocked when you find out that no solids can go down the toilet. It's fascinating. So you got no solids. You have to sleep so that your head is facing the back of the bus, because if you're the opposite and they slam on the brakes, you could just die.
Jeez.
That's a fun one. When you have 14 people on the bus, it smells like shoes real fast.
not surprised by that.
Fast.
You're lucky if it only
at all.
smells like shoes.
Yeah,
I toured.
Yes.
I toured with a band, and like, ugh.
I'm sure it smelled lovely.
Yep.
Probably have no
Oh
idea.
my God, that's gross.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
one of our
right.
viewers right now, Stu, is actually from the UK, and he said, "In what places in the UK do you like?"
All right, Stu, buckle up. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you think that I'm exactly accurate or absolutely insane. So my two favorite places in the UK are Stoke-on-Trent and Dunstable. Hit me up, Stu. What do you think?
Stoke-on-Trent.
Stoke-on-Trent. I love Stoke-on-Trent because there is a gin bar and coffee shop run by a lovely man named Scott. And we went there, we were there for 2 days. And the first day we went and he didn't have almond milk. And the second day we went, he went out to the grocery store and bought almond milk for us so he could make us almond milk lattes. And then we of course went there for gin at night. And I don't like gin or didn't like gin. And I said, Scott, I don't like gin. So what can you make for me? And now I love gin because he turned, and they were in these massive bowls. You were born on Stoke-on-Trent? Oh, cool, Stu. That place is great. You're a very lucky person.
So
That is
Stu,
a
what are your
great
what are your
place.
feelings then? There.
Yeah, do you
That's
like it?
hilarious. The fact that he
it's a
was
great-
born there.
That is
Greatest
funny as
place
fuck.
ever.
That's
Oh my
actually a
God.
name of a place, Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah,
So weird.
it's amazing.
So interesting.
Preston,
What's the other
Lincolnshire.
place?
Oh, Dunstable.
What was there?
Pretty much nothing.
So what did you like about it?
I loved, as it was super green and beautiful. There were lots of like farms and stuff, but it's the first place I had an English breakfast. I had a vegetarian English breakfast, and it was so good. And that was like everywhere I could, I got English breakfast after that. So I have like an affinity for Dunstable because it was the first show I had done in the UK, and it was the first English breakfast, and so I love it. I think it's beautiful. Everyone thinks I'm stupid though, so that's fine.
So
Yeah.
Sue says, I love the place, will always be my hometown, but people are to be desired for. So you must have met the good people too. I have to say though, I think the one thing that really stands out to me in the fact that you're like, oh, I like places that people think I'm crazy for liking. I love the fact that it's an experience that drives you to enjoy the place, not just like I went there and there were cool buildings, so this is my favorite place. It's the experience, and I think a lot of people miss out on that. You know, they like a place because and listen, nothing against having a good meal or seeing some cool stuff, but like looking for that deeper reason is, I think, helps you remember it so much more.
Yeah, and I think I love getting into. I mean, I'm quite introverted, so I try to avoid people in general. But when I'm in a new place and someone like triggers something where I go, oh my god, I want to know everything about this. So like Scott with his gin bar and coffee shop, or I was trying to think of another example. I mean, Mr. Ming is a good one, right? Where I'm just like, I just want to go watch.
I've
this
literally
man for
never heard anyone
hours.
say they like Rahway, New Jersey until I talked to you. So
Right? But
Yeah.
why I don't like, I've never been outside of this one street on Rahway, but I
That's
love
funny,
Rahway
though.
because of Mr. Ming. So
That's
that's
funny.
definitely like, I just love weird experiences and cool people. And so if I can have just a strange, wonky experience everywhere I go, then I'm having a great day. As soon as it starts to get like mundane or not interesting, then
You check
I get
that,
bored
yeah.
really easily and I check out. And so, yeah, I absolutely love places like Stoke-on-Trent, where I love it because of this gin bar. That's it.
And look, we learned something here too. Stu says there's so much history in Stoke, one of the oldest towns, cities in England.
It's so cool.
I didn't even know that. That is
So
too funny.
great.
That is
That's
too
so
funny.
cool.
It's just weird. Stoke-on-Trent is kind of a weird city name to me.
That's how a lot of so this is how a lot of European names happen though. Even like in German, you have that too. It's like the town name on a body of water. So like there may be 10 Stokes, but this is Stoke-on-Trent because there may be a Lake Trent or a River Trent or something like that there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the way they used to differentiate between like Stoke in the east and Stoke in the west. So you'd figure things out based on geographic, and they kind of became incorporated into the names.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
Makes
so,
sense.
Yeah,
Tyler is
that's
such a wealth of knowledge.
I try my best to know random crap about things that hopefully one day people will ask about. Oh my god. So we actually had some questions that came in ahead of time too that I wanted to touch on. No, they were
Look
all
at her
good
face.
ones. I swear they were all good ones. We didn't get any bad ones.
Oh,
So maybe that's disappointing, maybe not. Let's see. So I'll
Thank
run through some
goodness.
of the. Let's
I
see,
like
what
I
we
like
got here.
I like this question. What kind of magician is Kayla? She's a
A
vegan
badass
magician.
one. Yeah.
She's a vegan magician.
She is an awesome magician.
That sounds terrible. Vegan magician.
She makes vegan food disappear.
Yeah, that's accurate though.
So the first question we have in here from someone named Red Saber: are you going to the IBM Con in Atlanta next year?
I don't know.
All
I don't know what
good.
I'm doing later today.
So that's a maybe.
It's a maybe. I know. I think next year I'll be at TAOM. That's not 100% confirmed, but I'll be at the TAOM convention in Texas. Is it in Dallas? I don't remember where it is. Oh, I should know that.
You don't have to know until next year.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, whenever I need to buy a flight, I'll figure out where it is. But I should be at TAOM next year. Potentially Magic Live in May. I don't know about the IBM one, so fingers crossed. Maybe.
Have you missed the whole convention experience with COVID and everything?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Dude, she's an introvert. She doesn't want to go
Yeah.
to conventions.
No,
I get that.
I
Kind
did
of like
go
me with baby
to
showers, bro.
yeah. I have enjoyed some of the virtual conventions. I think we produced one for my podcast. We produced a virtual convention.
Nice.
Went to a couple others, and they're kind of fun, because then I get to avoid the things I dislike about conventions, which is people, and then see the things I do like about conventions, which is magic, and then get to hang out with people. If I want, I can easily avoid those I don't want to talk to, which
And
sounds
when you're
really
done for the
terrible,
day,
but
you don't have to make rounds and say bye to a ton of people. You just close your browser and you're done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're magically transported back home to your pajama pants. So
it's so great.
it works out perfectly.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
okay.
it.
I love it. Another question is, I feel like there's a lot of location-based questions here. Pan Whisk Plate says, coming back to Connecticut anytime soon.
Well, that's a good question. I might be there sometime in the January, February, March time, because I'll be in Chicago at that time, and so I'm hoping to pop back to Connecticut and do some shows with friends. So probably during those months at some point.
Very nice.
I haven't. Oh God, you asked the question.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, do you get back a
Awesome.
lot to like visit family, or do you pretty much stay to the West Coast because Connecticut's cold and it's Connecticut? So
I mean that, but I do try to go visit family as much as I can, which is usually 1 to 2 times a year. Or my parents are coming out here for the holidays, so that's nice.
nice.
And yeah, I do what I can, but usually because I'm traveling. I mean, for the last 4 years, not including the pandemic, so the 3 years before that, I was traveling like crazy. So there was no interest in when I didn't have shows to do for me to go anywhere. Now that I'm going to be home more, it'll be good. I can choose to travel when I want. So maybe I'll be back more often. That'd be great. I do miss the East Coast vibe and my friends in Connecticut, Boston, New York. It's always nice to go back. So my partner's also from Philly, so we can go back and visit his family too, which is always good.
Nice.
So we try to make a little trip on occasion.
Good old Philly.
Hello, Philly.
Oh man. Dude, that's you know what, it's good, and I definitely agree with you on the whole East Coast vibe. I know Steve doesn't make it back too often, but like there's definitely something to be said about growing up in the East Coast and then translating to the West Coast, and like the character traits that don't really vibe well in the West Coast that you sometimes like to go back to when you go back home.
Do you know what people on the West Coast don't always completely understand? Sarcasm.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
honestly
gosh, that's
100%, 100% the toughest thing to
Yeah.
translate out of the East Coast.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I love that
It
aspect
is-
now.
The thing about this, so here's the difference, right? This is the difference that I described to a lot of people. Now, I think Tyler, Steve, you guys get this. So for everyone else who maybe hasn't had this experience, here's the difference between East Coast and West Coast mentality. On the East Coast, if you're walking down the street and someone bumps your shoulder, you're either gonna say, "Oh, it's not a big deal, I'll keep going," and you're not gonna care about it, or you're gonna turn around and be like, "Watch the F where you're going." You're gonna have like an altercation, but it's such it's just a chill altercation that everyone's used to it, right? You get a couple middle fingers here and there, and you're like, whatever, and then you totally forget about it, right? It's not a blip in the memory of your day. It's just over. On the West Coast, if someone bumps your shoulder, one, if you yell at them and flip them off, they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Do you want to take a moment and have like a mental check-in about this day? Do you want to I have a really great therapist if you want to talk to," and you're like, whoa. Or you're going to bump shoulders. There's going to be a quick moment of silence. And then you're going to say secretly, quietly to your friends a couple seconds later, "What a bitch." And it's like, no, just handle it. Just handle it. Tell people what you think. It's okay. You don't have to have a mental check-in. You don't have to be mindful about this moment. And that is a massive difference where I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
If you don't like me or something I did, either just deal with it just go, "Okay, I don't like her." And I'm not going to be upset. Just go, "Okay, I don't like her," and then keep on going with your day. Move along. Or come tell me so we can work it out. And I have multiple times encountered people talking badly about me. Well, I'm standing right there. And they don't know I'm standing there. And then I have to be like, hi, hello. You want to say anything to my face? And they never do. So it's like,
right here.
we miss the East Coast. On the East Coast, they would say it to your face, and then you would just hash it out and be done.
Yeah.
Bump into a kid you bump into like a 6-year-old in New York City, and it's like, fuck off.
Tyler was queuing that up. He was waiting for it.
Yeah, honestly, at the end of the day,
good.
but no, and 100% agreed. Like, there's, I don't know if it's an aspect of people on the East Coast are always, I don't want to say we're always in a rush. Like, there's very laid back aspects, but like when we're going to do something, we're on a mission and we can't be bothered until it rises to that level of you just like stirred up a shitstorm. And so that's where,
and that's where you get those mission is.
Yeah.
You could be on your way to like blowing your nose.
Yeah, you could literally be walking to Dunkin' in the morning and someone steps on your shoe and World War III just broke out. But like, the next day, same thing could happen. And you're just like, whatever. I got more important shit to do. Like, it's the fluidity of the people. So
it's so, you should see Tyler and I when we're recording or when we're just talking on the phone or even on video when we're talking about stuff for Deckin Around and things that we're doing. And we have like a disagreement. You have two East Coast dudes. First of all, one from Boston, one from New Jersey that's close enough to New York. So it's kind of like,
yeah, it gets loud quick. And then like 30 seconds later, we're like on to another topic. It literally happened like yesterday. And then like 30 minutes later, like
not even 30 minutes. It was literally like 2 minutes later.
Well, no, but I'm saying like 30 minutes later, Steve's fiance walked in and she's like, are you guys done fighting now? And Steve's like, we were done fighting like 29 minutes ago.
I was like, we weren't even fighting. I was like,
we were just having a discussion.
It was so funny. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? He's like, dude, fucking fight. And literally, she goes in that room, closes the door. It's so funny.
It's so how it goes sometimes.
That's how it is.
I love it though. I love it though. That genuineness, you really can't beat.
Yes. People from the East Coast are very grounded. They're very genuine. They're very authentic. Like, they're not afraid to kind of be like, this is what I think, and this is my life, and boom, this is who I am. And I think in LA, there goes my manager. He's
got to check on his other clients.
Yeah, he's a very busy manager. He's got to yell at some other folks. They've got to pay his commission.
20%. His 20%.
It's 20% of treats.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I realized this because I had a Zoom once where my East Coast and West Coast friends met on a Zoom, and that was a mistake. It was a massive mistake because all my West Coast friends were really offended all the time, the whole time.
Really?
And I was like, I'm
not surprised by that. Yeah.
What are we talking about? And nothing that I would have gone, oh, that's offensive. They just like couldn't handle the bluntness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, how are we friends? This is weird.
Over time, to one person, and because they know you. They know you, and they know that, that's just Kayla. They don't know that it doesn't matter if you just meet someone.
That's not just Kayla. That's the entire state of Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Yep. That's exactly right.
I love it.
Yeah, that's totally true. So I have a question.
Go for it.
Has your mom, have you ever had an Ippon Seinagi done on you? Like, has your mom thrown you around a little bit?
Oh, I was like, what the hell did you just say? So I hated martial arts. So when I was a kid, I was born when my parents were much older. So my mother was 44, my dad was 48. I don't have any siblings. And so by the time I was in second grade, my mother was already retired from competing and sports and stuff. So between the ages of, from what I can remember to second grade, I refused to wear anything that wasn't a dress. And therefore my mother would be like, let's go to karate class. And I'd be like, can I do it in a dress? No, well, I'm not going.
I mean, you can, but it might not be appropriate.
It also was like dangerous, which whatever. But yeah, I was not allowed to go. My mother used to have a lot of practice sessions in the living room, and I definitely would be like, I'd run through and be like, I want a snack, and I'd get whapped in the head, and it was just a total normal thing for people to be fighting in our house all the
So your
time.
mom
So,
never like threw you, gave you any judo throws or anything?
but no, by the time I would have been interested in that, she was already well retired and too old.
I mean, I would have been like, it doesn't matter if you're interested or not. I would have done it anyway.
Sure.
God, Steve.
I'm like, look at this cool move. Whap!
Yeah, I wish.
I'm
That'd
gonna
be
teach my
great.
kid jiu-jitsu whether he wants to know it or not.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah. I
great.
I love it.
No, I just
Oh.
refused.
This is how you get choked out.
Yeah.
All of those, what did I just see not too long ago about might have been like a CSI episode or something like that with like a dad and the kids, and like the dad was like a judo guy and choked out the kid, and then I don't know, it's a whole
It
big
wasn't
thing.
CSI because I've seen
Nah,
all of them.
maybe not CSI, but like one of those shows. I don't remember what show it was in
Interesting.
the moment, but it was very much like based on that. Like the dad, the kid. Oh, you know what it was? Shit, it wasn't even a show. You remember a while back we had Chandler on the show,
Yeah,
Rise Magic, and he did that documentary
yeah.
on
That's-
Joe Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like his like whole thing was like his dad was like an ex-fighter, and like there was a whole like abuse element in the home. Like if anyone hasn't seen that, it was actually a great documentary to watch. But that was like that just like clicked to that to me. I was like, oh shit. So
Yeah,
That's
I was
cool.
like, it couldn't have been a crime show because I've seen them all. And
I know, I feel like you have seen them all. So,
I mean, I
even the
have.
bad ones,
great.
I've seen
So,
all of them literally. You
Steve and
know,
I-
you've seen a lot of crime shows when you watch like literally 10 different crime shows and you see the same story on all 10 crime shows.
Yep.
You're like, I know I've seen this before. Yeah, but this is the first show of this like new series. And you're like, but I've seen this like case before. That's
Yeah, they've all at one point every single crime show had like a Casey Anthony inspired plot
oh
line.
my god, they still
oh
do.
my god, yeah.
They
Yeah.
still do. And John Bonet Ramsey.
At some point, we're gonna spin into like the Jodi Arias timeline, and
What do you mean, dude? We've already spun into that.
I haven't seen them in like the mainstream yet, thankfully.
Oh,
so
they're everywhere.
no,
What are you
I
talking
can't.
about?
I just remember watching that trial live at the gym and being like, this is terrible. Like being on the treadmill and being
Yep.
like, this is such trash. This woman is crazy.
That girl
So,
is
she can-
bananas.
Yeah, like
Bananas.
I feel like people go through life being like, oh man, that person's crazy. And like you say it, but you don't really know what you're talking about. And then you see someone like that who's just sitting there like serial killer smiling the entire trial when they're talking about like these horrific things. And you're like, oh, that's fucked up.
Not only is she crazy, she's stupid. she's got both crazy and stupid.
Not a
Yep.
safe combo.
Like she literally
Yeah.
took a picture of her committing a crime.
Yeah,
What an idiot.
genius.
Anyway.
This but really random. Just looking at our fun comments over here. There's a fun. I'll just give you the information that you're asking for, Joseph. I don't have a YouTube channel because I work for a living, and so I don't have time. I don't even know how the YouTube works. So thank you for sharing my Fool Us link. Who's ever working the
That is
Deckin
me.
Around? Thank
I'm
you,
always running
Tyler.
it.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have a YouTube channel because the fact that I got here today is a miracle, to be honest with you. I'm 80 when it comes to technology, so I think I know. I think I'm on Facebook. I don't actually know.
All the
so
social
that's
media
why
links
I
are
can't
down
find it.
below. So I think there's a
Oh.
Facebook, a Twitter, your actual Magic and Heels site, and another one down there. Maybe the Instagram. So
Awesome, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Now, do you think
perfect. So,
within time
sorry,
your name's
Joseph.
going to change to like Magic and Flats?
Magic and
Listen,
Sweats.
I
Magic and
made-
Sweats.
I made such an error. With this business name. Honestly, I can't believe I pigeonholed myself. into
Now you have to
having
fucking wear
heels.
heels every time.
I genuinely want to buy Magic in pajamas and just call it a day, but I don't think it's as sellable. And so, I mean, maybe
it
I
might
don't know.
be,
I'm not
depending
sure
on
what the
what your
market's looking
pajamas are.
for.
Depends on what
Right.
your pajamas are.
I do wear jumpsuits to perform, so they're basically
Nice.
pajamas. They just look fancy.
Fancy jammies.
Yep.
There's nothing
Fancy
wrong with
pajamas.
that. I think in this day and age, what is now socially acceptable as like outside attire has changed. Like I think now in this like post-COVID, people are a little more lax on what they'll wear. Like granted, we've always seen like UGG boots and like those kind of like very laid back attire, but I'm going to start guessing that we're going to see a lot more legit pajama pants out in public. I literally remember putting on this hoodie yesterday being like, oh, I'm going to pick this hoodie over a different hoodie because I'm not going out and this is not a going out hoodie. And then I was like, oh man, I need to go to the grocery store, and I left the hoodie on and just rolled to the grocery store. So, the presentability of clothing, I think, has changed post-COVID.
Dude, you want to hear something really funny? You wouldn't catch me dead outside with sweatpants on. Okay,
Oh, man,
I don't care what I'm doing. Like if I'm going to like take the trash out, totally. I'll or going to get the mail, I'll have sweatpants on. But probably a little less than a year ago, I'd say, I got shingles. Okay. Yeah,
Gross.
exactly. I got it, and yeah. So I got shingles because I was super stressed out because of the stupid Kickstarter I was doing. So I got shingles like right on my hip where the waistband of like jeans and stuff goes. So I literally was wearing joggers / sweatpants for 2-3 months because obviously shingles are a fucking pain in the ass. But what happened is and I always had sweatpants, but I actually kind of brought into my wardrobe nicer joggers. So it was like that kind of gave me the excuse. So now that and I went to Banana Republic, that's where I shop, and I got these really cool like canvasy pants, maybe not canvasy, but like what's that fabric that's like
Rayon?
Cotton.
No, they're cotton, but they're like there's another word. I think
Like
they're like
stretchy cotton?
They're like canvasy pants, but like super
Latex.
No, that's not stretchy. Like
oh my god.
cotton.
So this is now. Here's what we're gonna start doing. Every episode, we're gonna have a guest add an item, inadvertently or specifically, to what Steve has to do when he gets 1 million views on a video. And now Steve is gonna be permed with latex pants.
Oh,
Yes.
God. Are you kidding me?
Steve, is your hair curly or straight? It's fairly straight.
It's kind of
or is it-
wavy.
Got a wave?
It's kind of wavy, yeah.
Yeah,
How long is it?
long as shit.
It's pretty long, yeah. It's
Is your hair or my hair longer?
I'd probably say my hair is longer than yours.
Is it?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I don't know how long your hair is like without the Jew fro.
I mean, I don't have the. I mean, I get it chemically no
Right.
longer juice.
Oh, you have to
though,
show me
so-
what it looks like. How long? Let's see how long it is.
You might. I bet your hair's longer, but it is a shock.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's-
about the same, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little. Actually,
I think
it's
you might
pretty
be
close to the same.
I'm not ever gonna answer.
It's
I can.
Literally-
I can hold it with my arms straight out.
well, you're
Yeah, you have different length arms though.
yeah, different length. So it's about
That's a
the
good point.
same.
Yeah, it's about the
I'm-
same now. Yeah.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Are you
Really?
really?
Yeah.
Then you're
Damn,
you're
tall.
Your hair's probably longer than mine because
Yeah.
so,
'Cause-
so I have a 5'8.5" reach though. I'm 5'6.5".
Ah, okay. I have, according to the Basketball Hall of Fame, I have the reach of a 6'2" basketball player.
This makes a lot of sense because the other
Wait,
day
so you have a 6'2" reach?
I have massive wingspan. I played basketball, and so I got really obsessed with like my arms just being really, really freakishly long. I know you can't see it but I
So
do.
if you have if you have a 6'2" reach, that's fucking long.
They're my arms are long.
I have a +2 ape. You have a +4.
Sure. Yeah, that
So-
sounds right. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, you bring up the basketball too, because the other day when we were setting all this up and everything, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see. You sent over some images. I'm like, let me go find URLs and everything. And like one of the first things that pops up in Google Images for you is literally you like in your basketball uniform, like in motion with the curly hair. And this was after we talked yesterday. And I was like, oh damn, she does have crazy curly hair. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I bet you hate that picture still pops up.
It's just it's like 10 years old. It's actually a little bit older than 10 years. So it's like, oh, I don't look like that anymore. And also, I
Look
am.
who's there. You got Lorenzo in the room.
What's up? How you doing, Lorenzo?
Where's
What's up?
Lorenzo?
Stockholm 17 playing cards right here.
It was Santa.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know. I just grabbed the first comment.
I'm like,
Uh,
Yeah.
But so
I hope
actually,
he's talking about your pants.
this
We're talking-
one's definitely a better one to tag right there. Kayla wins.
No,
There you
bring
go.
back the sandpaper.
I just grabbed the first one with the
Right.
name. All fine. So this is actually fitting too with Lorenzo in the room because being a magician, you obviously handle cards on a regular basis. It was for Steve's trousers. Yeah. Oof. I don't want to hurt him with sandpaper pants. I just want to make it funny. Latex pants. Those
No,
might hurt
dude,
too.
well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
you gotta pay. Hey, you gotta pay me some money to put on some latex pants.
A million
might
view
be a little-
video. A million view video will pay you in pride. So there you go.
Okay, well, we'll think about it. So yeah, I mean, anyway, go ahead.
So with Lorenzo, Lorenzo is a very well-known playing card designer. A question that came in, which I think is always interesting because I always like to hear what magicians think on this. What is your favorite deck of cards to use, or do you really even have a preference for cards?
I don't do a lot of card magic, to be completely honest. And so,
Hold on. Hi, Mom.
okay?
My mom's here. I
Yeah.
have to interrupt.
Steve has to say hi to
anybody
her
when my mom comes
Hi, Janice.
in. Janice
Hi,
is here.
Janice. Janice, I realize you're not checking in on me, but I just wanted to say hi, and I'm so glad you're here. And we're gonna make you some Reubens next time you come to LA. So get ready, buckle up, Janice.
Mom, she's gonna make you a Reuben. So when you're out in LA, we'll make that happen. But you might have to make her some matzo ball soup.
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Please. Hi, Janice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that honestly, no matter what I'm talking about, Janice is more important.
As long as you know that,
well,
it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I acknowledge it. I understand. I see my place in the world. What was I talking about? Oh, cards. Yeah, so I'm not a big card magic person. And I think a part of that is that when I had to go through all my like wonky health stuff I was talking about a while ago, when like I had to cut all that food, I lost a lot of like mobility and strength in my hands. And so I went from having been able to do a lot of card sleights and stuff. This was now 8 years ago. So
Okay.
I went from being able to do everything to not being able to do anything. So I went to mentalism, and that way I didn't have to worry about how my hands were feeling that day, and instead just needed to make sure my brain was on and I could pretty much do a lot of stuff. So I started doing any card magic I do is usually done with stuff that doesn't look like cards. So I have a deck of what looks like gift cards that I printed or
Okay.
just had printed. So I can do some basic, card magic moves, but with gift cards. And so instead, and then it's used in a mentalism piece. So unfortunately, I'm not a good person to ask about like the designed cards or anything because I just don't pay attention.
Right.
Because I don't do much card magic.
Yeah.
If anything, I tend to, if for close up, I tend to lean more towards rubber bands. Rubber bands are my
Okay.
jam. But I do love like going into magic shops or conventions and stuff and seeing all the designed cards. I'm just really impressed, but I sadly just don't have anything. I can't even tell you if I like, maiden backs over bikes. It's just like they all feel the same to me because I'm not doing any moves that matter.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. So
And we find that though a lot with magicians too, it's more about a utility thing than a collection thing. Whereas with people who really have like a preferred deck, it's either because they really like marked decks, and so obviously you have a limited span of marked decks, or they really like a certain deck because of sentimental value more so than any sort of other reason to it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like any art form, right? It's like when I
Yeah.
was, training jujitsu. There's this weird fascination with jujitsu gis, which is the outfit that you wear when you do jujitsu. But people collect them because there's like the supreme of jujitsu gis, and they're worth money. So you collect them, and you just try to get all the different ones, right? So you ask instructors and teachers what kind of gi they prefer, and they're like, I don't fucking care. Like
right.
I roll in it. Like I don't as long as as long as it does this and that, whatever, then that's all I care. And it's kind of the same thing for a magician. It's like what it comes down to is if the cards can do this, then that's what it is. They prefer the cheapest ones possible usually because they go through them so frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're consumables, right? And also Lorenzo has a really good point, which is like if I do a close-up gig, which is rare nowadays, but if I do them, I'm choosing bikes because that's what audiences understand. I'm definitely gonna do something that's inexpensive, and also the audience isn't gonna go, those don't look like cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do agree. It would if I had just like a ton of money, I can totally see collecting really well designed cards. And how many Jerry Nuggets do we still see these days? Like they're so many different kinds,
Yeah.
and the cherry ones, and they're just beautiful. I mean, they're stunning cards. I just can't fathom using a $20 deck for a close-up cake
Yeah.
where someone's probably going to drop cards in a spilled drink. Like that's the kind of gig that I tend to work, is like and because I'm working bars and stuff all the time, I
Yeah.
can't trust somebody with my beautiful looking cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see that. Yeah. And I think Lorenzo, Steve, you both have really good points. Just easy, normal looking deck of cards. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean, like we talk to Spade all the time, and we talk to him about cards, and he's like, I don't fucking know. He's like, he's like, does it fan? Can I do a DPS with it? Like, cool. That's all I care about. And, I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so another question that we actually had come in as well was, let me see here. I just saw that because there's a couple that were duplicates. We hear you. This is from the MV Law. We hear you love to teach magic. Do your students ever come to watch you perform?
Oh, you got to tell us this inside joke.
Yeah, this is an inside joke because that's Mike, who is one of my students. And yes, so I do teach magic a lot. I teach a lot at the Magic Castle and like private students and stuff, and it's really fun because I get to be super creative and I get to meet cool people who are passionate about magic and get them to love the elements of magic that I love, or explore the elements of magic they love, and learn more about it. And it's really cool to see people click into magic. And so Mike has been a student of mine throughout the whole pandemic, and he came in with this group of people in their level 1 course. And at the Magic Castle there are 5 levels, so he came in with this group of people, and they took level 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together virtually during the pandemic. And as soon as the first public live show I did, that entire group of people was there.
That's
and
awesome.
Then they started coming. I did a run in the close-up gallery at the Magic Castle, and they came twice to my show in the same night. I wasn't going to do a second show because it was like a Tuesday and there weren't enough people. And then I had to do a second show because they came again.
That's awesome.
There was no one else there. It was just them. It was amazing. And so I love when students get really excited about magic, and this particular group of folks is like just my favorite group of people ever, because they're just so into it and they're so supportive, and they come to all the shows. And I'm about to go do a run at the Chicago Magic Lounge, and we're talking about all coming out for a trip together. And these people have barely met in person, and they're like, let's go on a trip together. It's just they're a really, really great group of people. So Mike is one of those just really awesome guys that just sits in the audience and like studies, and it's so cool. So
Nice.
Yes, I'm very thankful for that group of people.
Well, so now Mike has a second question here then, and it
Great.
says, and this one actually, I should have read this one first because it ends with laughing emojis in it. So this would have definitely cued the relationship there. What is your favorite magic to perform? Why was it card magic?
Yeah, he knows I hate cards. So I love performing more comedy-based mentalism.
Okay.
So I love, I don't know if you could tell, but I am not Max Maven. I can't get away. This is weird to me. Like this whole, I can't do that. Obviously, folks like Max, and they can pull that off, no problem. I'm just not a very serious human being. And so I instead focused on being funny and learned how to be funny, and still learning, of course, how to be funny, just constantly trying to figure out what comedy means all of the time. And because I focused on that, and I learned a lot from these comedy mentalists, Christian and Catalina out of Indianapolis. They're amazing.
Cool.
In my opinion, best magic show happening right now, hands down. They do they Friday and Saturday nights. They're at the Hilton in Indianapolis. It's the best show I've ever seen. And continuously, every time I see it, I go, this is the best show I've ever seen. And So I love adding personality, flavor, stories, all of that to mentalism, because I think that makes it a lot more fun for me, at least. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing. But if you wanted to like be really specific, I basically can't live a day without doing rubber band magic. I just
Nice.
love it. It's so much fun. It's just so weird and cool when you're like, look at these rubber bands. You know them, you're on your desk.
Yeah, but
Let's do
don't
something
your hands
cool.
smell after a night?
No, you gotta have, well, yeah, if you use crap rubber bands, sure. But if you get the really good ones, the Joe Rhineflesh ones that are made of silicone, you're fine. They don't smell bad.
Nice.
Man. I love that
No, they
Steve's
don't smell
main
bad.
concern is don't your hands smell like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gotta
So-
ask the important questions, you know.
What
It's
do we
true.
have?
Yeah.
And so we have one more question here, actually, that I do want to ask, which again from another friend of yours. It's actually from Alex the Mind Reader, who I'd assume you
God.
know.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite like inane questions anyone can ever ask. And
First
I
of all,
always
why is
love
he
this
asking the question? If he's a mind reader, he should already know what should say.
Hey.
Well, so I think this is a question that has no right answer because it always spurs interesting responses. But would you rather fight 100 horse-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized horses?
All right, wait. Would you rather fight 100
Horse-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized horses?
Well, I'm gonna pick duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's so, they're like this big.
No, they're smaller than that.
But
Depending.
I mean, yeah, you could be talking like Canadian. Yeah, it depends what kind
Well,
of
it
duck.
depends.
Yeah, they could be
I mean,
big ass ducks.
Are they fast as fuck? Like,
That's what I'm
but-
saying. It would basically be a miniature horse, so they are very fast.
but dude, you can kick them in the legs and they're done. I don't mean to like.
Yeah.
I would never kick a horse.
I feel like this is a terrible question for Kayla here because she's like, I don't want to fight either of them.
I would never kick a duck. I mean, I would never kick a duck or a horse, obviously. But if
I've
I
kicked
would,
the goose before because those fuckers are vicious. But
that's
neither
why
here
I would
nor
not
there.
pick. That's why I wouldn't do the horse-sized ducks.
Oh, see, and that's where like I think you have to like, yeah.
Dude, 100 of anything that big,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
If it
I
was
would
like
definitely take
10,
the horses.
if it was like 10 or if it was like one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses, that may be a bit of a difference there. But yeah, 100 of each, scary.
No, dude, I would take the horses any day.
The duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
Oh, the duck-sized horses.
The small ones, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I figure you could just hop up on something tall and they can't get you and you're done. But also, I just want to point out that Alex is a vegan and he's asking me about what animal.
That's so
my God.
awesome. My mom says, "I know you wouldn't, my son." Whatever.
Oh my god.
I just
You
texted
brought me
him.
up right,
and
Mom. Don't worry.
I just texted Alex and went, ducks and horses, really?
Dude, I'm all about the horse-sized ducks.
I think you also
mean,
have a
the
better
duck-sized
chance
horses.
of hopefully befriending duck-sized horses over like horse-sized ducks.
Hmm.
You can't do nothing about that. Those are dinosaurs at that point. Like
Yeah.
you're basically pitting yourself against dinosaurs.
Can you
Whereas,
imagine
like-
those beaks?
Yeah.
Those beaks are dangerous.
Man, they have teeth.
Yeah.
You don't really realize it until they bite you, but they
They're
have teeth. Imagine
tiny.
if those teeth were but now they're horse size. I don't know. Horses can be vicious too, but like
But dude, they're very
Yeah.
fragile.
yeah, and they're small.
Horses are pretty, right?
Yeah.
Horses are fragile. You tip them over in the wrong way, and they're fucked. So
I mean, the other aspect to that too is like you said, either like Kayla, you either have like a rock you get on top of, or you have some sort of like 3 foot tall barrier, and they're defeated. The duck.
Also remember, ducks can fly. So you're
Yes.
gonna have a massive duck
It's
that
a-
can
it's a dinosaur.
fly.
It's literally
Yeah.
it's a modern day dinosaur.
But the
You
cool,
you
the
go
cool thing is you can run after a duck, and usually they'll run away.
yeah, but
That's
dude, that's
true.
because they think that's because you're taller than them. In this situation, they're
That's
taller
true.
than you.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
like you could like run into a house, and this thing could like kick in your door. Like it's
My
just gonna
mom-
like
my mom.
Dude.
What do
Yeah,
ducks
we
and
don't
horses
know,
have to do?
Janice. We have no clue. Just
We
my
just-
friends are weird.
we just asked the questions.
Mom, don't judge us. Just go along with it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love it.
Yeah.
Your mom's
So
like,
here's the
this is
thing.
how I choose to spend my Sunday.
I
you, Janice.
personally, I wouldn't want to go like sit on a car because they couldn't get to me, because then I'd literally just be sitting on the car forever. So I'd have to make sure that I could I decapitate
At some point, they'd get
or
bored
do
though.
something.
They'd
that
get bored.
I could.
That's the hope. You hope that in a pacifist approach, you hope that they get bored, or you can convince them to get something else, or like you wait for someone else to run by and then hopefully they attack them and then you're off the hook. Like there's a lot of different ways you could go about this.
I don't want to
But
throw someone else under the bus. I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean,
I would.
as long as I go home, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I think the smaller option is the better option.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I
I would.
used to
Good.
work at the Museum of Science in Boston, and I
Oh,
worked in the animal center, and so we had lots of really cool animals. But I got a temporary job out of that, working in Lincoln, Mass, at an animal rehabber, and so we had these crows and these hawks and stuff. And one time there was I used to get bit by the crows all of the time, but we had this really bad snowstorm, like the many years ago. It was like
In
4.5
Boston?
feet. Yeah.
In
I
Boston?
know, shock, right? Like it never happened in January of all time. And so we had to go get the outdoor birds to protect them from the snowstorm. And my memory of this is not we didn't have a ton of money, and basically we had a set of leather gloves and one net, and my coworker and I basically rock paper scissors for who was going to get what, and she got the net and I got the gloves, and I had to get the hawks and the owls. It was insane. And the amount of bruises I had coming out of that were pretty great. So, and we had ducks as well, which is how the tangent I got here. And duck bites are not fun. They hurt a lot, especially if they pinch you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess around with that.
No,
No,
Not-
I pick
not a
horses,
chance.
tiny
Plus-
horses.
Plus, you gotta figure too, like ducks and like geese and all that. They transmit a lot of diseases. Like avians in general, they're just, I don't want to say like they're dirty, but like they're not, they're not domesticated animals. They're not cleaned. They clean themselves as best they can, but like gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's not like-
Tiny horses.
Uh,
Look like tiny horses.
I mean, I used to
I'm all
like,
about playing
Yeah.
kickball with a tiny horse, bro.
dude, I grew up like near like a small river, and every like summer there'd be like hundreds of Canadian geese that would like flock to the water, and you basically couldn't walk across the grass for like 3 months of the year because it was just covered in like goose shit. So like ducks, geese, I like them from afar. I don't mind them. They're very, good looking animals, I guess. I don't know, but like they're disgusting. So
we have a flock of geese behind
I
us
hate-
that
can't
are
do it.
just chilling
love
and
it.
pooping in our backyard. But
drive me
I mean,
nuts.
it's cool because there's a lot of wildlife around here. Just driving out yesterday, there was 2 deer that was hanging out. But yeah,
See,
they're
Janice is on the same page as me here. Gross.
yeah, exactly. Well, there's actually a park in Brockton, which is where I'm from. When I was growing up, my dad and I and my sister used to go to the area and just feed the ducks, and there was hundreds and hundreds of them just fighting over bread. It's so funny.
It seems like the most innocent pastime, but it's like the worst thing we've ever done because now we've like probably not ever, but
Right.
but we've significantly impacted like birds' migratory patterns because of like something as simple and dumb as like feeding them bread.
Yeah.
It's got to be the
my
worst thing for them. Bread and water.
I like-
The minute you,
Yep.
it's funny because you could take like a little piece of bread, roll it up in a ball, and it hits the water and it goes like this. And
Dude.
it's like they're eating a whole loaf.
See,
Yep.
Garvin, we appreciate your appreciation of this conversation here. This is a great conversation. I love the detail it is being considered in. Dude, listen, we don't do anything half-assed here. We're 4 people from the East Coast. We're giving everything as much thought as possible. So,
I think. Who's the fourth person?
I'm throwing Janice in the mix here too, because she's just full on in the
Janice!
conversation.
Yes.
just so everybody knows, we're gonna bring Janice on a 24-hour live, so everybody gets
Yes.
to meet Janice.
Yes, Janice will be on for a bit to say hello, tell
Yes.
us some, regale us with some stories of Steve.
Oh boy, yeah, she'll get a kick out of that. She'll probably tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
stories that I don't even know.
Oh my God. So Janice, start thinking about your most embarrassing Steve stories
Oh, great.
for the 24-hour episode. Oh my
Lovely.
gosh.
I look forward to that.
Dude. But while we're at it, do we have any other questions out there from the audience? I think Yeah, I've learned so much today about just vegan food, about about everything California. Yeah,
Random cities and
yeah.
states.
Dude, I have to say though, I'm like really intrigued by the idea of vegan corned beef still.
Oh, I'm
Like,
definitely gonna try that for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Potty,
Definitely
potty at
do.
Kayla's house.
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
see what this is all about because it sounds really interesting, and I think there's we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I think just the accessibility of vegan
My
food
mom, my mom said oy vey.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the idea
She's
just
like
of
a
the
typical Jew for you right there, a Jewish mom.
there you go. Adam says no questions. He really enjoyed your show at the Magic Lounge here in Chicago.
Awesome.
Oh, thanks, Adam. That's awesome.
And
I'm so glad
Mateo,
you came.
Mateo, a little buddy of ours. Do you know Mateo?
Mateo Pittenger,
Pittenger? Yeah, he's like the 13-year-old magician who's amazing.
dude's like
Name
next
sounds
level.
really familiar.
Creates he like makes puppets.
He makes puppets.
He creates his own gimmicks. He's like amazing.
Cool.
Dude's next level.
Yeah.
But he was saying he saw you perform right before the pandemic kicked
COVID.
off as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fun. That's so cool. Oh, awesome. Hi, Mateo.
My mom. I would never embarrass my son. I love him, but I have some funny things I could tell.
Definitely get him ready.
She just contradicted herself.
get him queued up, Janice. We're ready for it. But
you can embarrass me, Mom. I gave you permission.
there you go. She's your mom. She doesn't need your permission. She can embarrass you if she wants. So
You know what? It's my mom, but she's also my best friend, so she would never throw me under the bus. But I give her permission 100%.
there you go.
I don't mind. I think everybody knows that I'm all about my embarrassing side. I'm okay with people knowing that.
Dude, I love it. Kayla, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today, though. We've talked about some crazy ass stuff. Nothing I expected to talk about. Well, some of it, maybe the magic side of it and the vegan food. But like, now we all know where we stand on baby showers. Now we all know where we stand on Rahway, New Jersey. So I can't get enough of the fact that like there's so many little aspects across this whole country that you gravitate towards. And I think that's such an awesome part of your personality, really trying to find the fun experiences throughout your travels, not just the idea of, hey, look at this 14th century building, all this other stuff, but like really enjoying what life is all about and what life has to offer you. I think that says a lot about you, your personality, and your kind of journey you've been through.
Yeah, some fun stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really do appreciate
We
it.
could probably have you on for a full 24 hours and not hear the same story twice.
Dude.
That's very accurate. And just I just saw it pop up, but sorry, Stu, I did not try oat cake when I was in Stoke. So next time I'm there, I will have oat cake in your honor.
There you go.
But no, I didn't try it. That's a bummer. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Are you cool if I plug two things?
Dude, go
real
plug
fast?
everything you want. You
plug
could have plugged
10
stuff the whole
things
show.
if you
Yeah, go
want.
for it.
Okay, I just want to plug myself. No, just kidding.
You're supposed to have your shirt on so you can point to it.
I know. I did it. It got dirty, y'all. It got dirty from yesterday.
Look at
so.
Tyler and I. We're wearing dirty sweatshirts.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Okay. Good.
Nobody saw that we wore the same shit yesterday.
I mean, you literally came on to the test call yesterday and saw me like shoving my face with like grocery store sushi. So you should have known what the vibe. Yeah. So there you go. You should have known the vibe from the jump.
Yeah. So accurate. I love it. So yeah, besides like my general stuff, which is my website's Magic in Heels, social media is Magic in Heels. You can find out like where I'm performing and what I'm doing there. My life is posting pictures of my dog, pictures of food I eat, and then shows I'm doing. So it's not that exciting, but you can follow it for the shows I'm doing. And also Warhammer. I play a lot of Warhammer, and then I post pictures about how great Warhammer is.
What's
Anyways,
Warhammer is a tabletop game, Steve. Figurines. We'll talk about this later.
It's badass. It's like next level nerd, and I'm really proud of myself. But
I just can't do that. Tabletop stuff.
It's great. It's all of your money, and it's all of your time, and it's all of your brain power, and totally worth it. But besides all that, and I could talk about Warhammer forever. I got two things going on. One is I'm going to be performing at the Chicago Magic Lounge from January through March. So I'm doing my full hour show Wednesday nights. And tickets are on sale now. So if you're in Chicago or going to be coming through Chicago and happen to be there on Wednesday, get them. But also, if you get to go to the Chicago Magic Lounge anytime, it's honestly the next level magic venue. It is so amazing. And everyone is welcome all of the time. And it's just like such a wonderful, inclusive, loving place. And the magic quality is so high. They're just setting a new standard of magic. So highly recommend checking out the Chicago Magic Lounge, regardless if it's my show or not, but also come to my show.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, thank you. I should like pause for buttons.
Well, and for everyone who's out there too, the link for the tickets in the Chicago Magic Lounge are in the description below. So definitely make sure to check it out if you are interested, if you're in the Chicago area or you're looking to travel to Chicago sometime between January and March. It's an awesome city and you get to see Kayla perform live.
Might be a little cold, but it's worth it.
Thank you. Totally worth it. Yeah. No, whatever. Snow, whatever. Yeah. Thank you for that. And then the last thing is I have a podcast. So it's called Shezam, Shezam. Podcast is about some tougher topics of discussion, but honestly, no matter what your views are, I think it's really worth it to hop on. It's mainly about diversity and inclusion within the magic community and allied variety arts industries. So it's a massively eye-opening thing to where you might not think you need to listen to it, or you might not think there are any issues, but when you start to listen to it and you start to hear the experiences of people because they are women, people of color, transgendered, all of the above, regardless of who they are, but their experiences are really hard to hear about. And basically the podcast is just hoping to become obsolete one day because we just want everyone to be included within the magic community. And right now people aren't. And so it's really worth listening to. We try to make it really fun and silly while also hammering home some really intense topics and having some harsh conversations. But honestly, it's really, really important and more people need to listen to it because there's a lot going on in magic that is bad and there's a lot going on in magic that's good. And so we're trying to highlight the good and fix the bad. So definitely check it out. Season 4 starts on, I think it's December 6th, whatever that Monday is. I knew this before I came on and then I lost it. So yeah, December 6th will be the first episode of season 4.
Awesome.
And it's going to be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. So check it out, shezampod.com, or you can see all of that announcement on the, you can see all of that on my Instagram and stuff as well.
I think it's down in the description below as well. So
do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Cool.
Kayla,
thank you both so much.
Dude, no, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Honestly, I think we've gotten to dive into some really crazy, fun topics today. Kept it light, kept it fun, but learned a lot about some interesting stuff about who you are behind the magic and honestly, what life looks like for you outside of magic. And I think, it's been honestly a pleasure to get to know you more.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was good to get to know you guys too, and Janice. So excited. I'm looking forward to that friendship.
Meet Janice in January, so don't worry.
Cannot wait. I'm so excited. Thank you both very much.
Dude, it's been our pleasure. Absolutely. Guys, everyone out there, stick around for the after show. Kayla, for everyone out there, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and Steve's going to tell you who's going to be on next week's episode.
Oh, shiznat. I got to, hold on, let me look. Dude, thank you for reminding me.
One of us always forgets, so I'm glad I'm not the one.
We got Noah Sawney, the magician, coming on next week.
Nice. So we're going to have a fun time sitting down with Noah. Noah's amazing. It's going to be a really good time, so make sure to check it out. As always, we're also going to be posting our live schedule for this week coming up tomorrow, I think around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That should go live. We have a couple live events this week. It's going to be a really good time, and obviously for anyone in the States, Thursday is Thanksgiving, so nothing will be going on then. But if you don't tune in before then, we wish you all a happy and Thanksgiving and a good time with your family. Hopefully you get to spend it with those you love and can be thankful for all the good times you get to spend with each other. So thank you everyone for coming out. As always, we are so thankful for you and your support of the show. Enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much, everyone. We love you. Peace.